that link then. Cool. People can be responsible adults.
It might be that people who registered through Luma and Eventbrite got two different types of invitations, right?
That link then.
Yeah,
Cool.
another person is
People can be
asking me.
responsible adults.
It might be that people who registered through Luma.
Yeah. Okay. All righty.
You hear me well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no, stay here. You don't need to go to YouTube.
I'd like to give a disclaimer, which is I'm not entirely sure how long my presentation is. I'll try to time myself. I think we start my presentation in 10 minutes, right? So it's until 10 past 6. Yeah, I'll speed up if necessary. It's a bit of a workshop. It's like I cannot just talk like no breaks. I mean, I just like the audience to also have a say and discuss. So I did, yeah, I'm doing the workshop formula. Okay, how break through the bots? I get it.
Yep. I'll just be sending periodic messages on who's starting and so forth. So perfect.
Albert, were you able to send Linda or make Linda a co-host, Linda Becker?
Let me see if
Saw my notes in the WhatsApp.
yeah. What's her email?
Put it in the WhatsApp group chat.
Okay.
Um,
I think we should officially start now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give me a sec just to make sure I can share my screen?
Yeah, we can also do like 5 minutes, like delay on purpose, just talking to the audience. Oh,
Albert,
and
Albert, why don't you,
Jesse, yeah, Jesse is asking to be added as a co-host on WhatsApp. She's not here yet.
um, Albert, why don't you kick it off um, and then I'll talk.
Oh, she is here. Let me make her panelist here. Um,
Um,
she just declined to be made a co-host.
Waiting
I don't know.
around.
Did Irene just leave? Okay.
Albert, you can kick it off with your opening remarks, and then I'll follow up, and then introduce Linda, and then I'll also introduce Natalia. Um,
Is Linda here in the chat? I need
I don't
to.
know, is she in there as a participant yet?
She's not here either way. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
I
if she
think
comes in
so.
late, we'll give her her time whenever because she paid as a sponsor.
I think one person raised their hand. Sash? Oh,
Yeah.
not
If you have
anymore.
a question, we'll go ahead and answer those throughout the webinar here. All right, cool. Well, hello everybody and welcome. You are here for the Career Transition Conference. Design your future career and AI and Web3. My name is Albert. I am the founder of Albert's List. We are the co-hosts of today's multi-panel conference. If you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A function or the webinar chat. We also have a poll going, how you feel about your AI skills. We always love to gauge where people are in their AI journey. And we have many different speaking sessions slated for tonight. So wherever you are, feel free to sit back, relax, and we will get started here in a moment. Eric, should we have everyone introduce themselves, or would you like to go here?
Yeah, what I thought we would do is have people introduce themselves before they give their session. And what I'd like to do is just go ahead and introduce, give an overview of what we'll be covering tonight, and then we'll have each person give a more detailed intro about who they are. But I'll just give a kind of an overview of the night. So my name is Eric Forst, and I'm the host with Albert and a group of other HR professionals who we've assembled over the last couple of years in what we call the Career Transition Conference. This conference started out of the work that I was doing at the House of Web3 with a group called We Heart SF, where we were working on technology solutions to address the homeless problem in the city of San Francisco. And out of that work, I became the coordinator of something called the Workforce Development DAO. And we thought that, as much as we want to help people get off of the street and get into jobs where they can thrive, we also want to try to help people not have to wind up on the street and keep jobs or thrive in their career or find new jobs. And we saw huge waves of tech layoffs starting in 2024 that have continued into this year. So we really wanted to give people the tools and insights into where opportunities exist in this economy in the Bay Area and beyond, both working with AI to help you in your career search, and in better understanding your value and unlocking the value that you can contribute to any organization. So along those lines, we have an amazing lineup of speakers, and let me just give you a kind of a quick rundown of who we've got here. So we've got starting off, Natalia Bilchik is going to present Ontology of Value. Natalia is a PhD in neuroscience who's developed an incredible self-assessment tool that helps you understand not only the value that you bring and can contribute, but also what is the ideal environment that will allow you to thrive in your career. So it's a very unique self-assessment tool. We're going to then follow that with a presentation from Irene Nexica, who is a professional recruiter and job development professional who helps people all day find jobs as a recruiter. And she has an incredible list of resources, job search resources to share with you. And she also has power prompts for AI that can help anyone in their career. So she's going to walk you through that. We'll follow that up with Annette Pearson, who is a career coach. Her theme is networking is not a bad word. And she's going to talk about the power of networking and how to unlock a network, your network, and create a network, and why that's so important. We'll then have a presentation from one of our sponsors, Callings AI. Garrett is going to present his AI-powered career platform for the modern job hunt. It's an incredible place to host a resume, look for jobs. I get emails every day from Callings that are opportunities that I might be interested in. And then Albert and I are going to finish things off by sharing with you some of the work we've been doing, mostly in Claude, but the work and tools that we're going to show you can work in ChatGPT as well, where we're going to help you understand how to build customized job search tools and career search agents. And what I'm going to show you is going to connect your Ontology of Value search results, if you had a chance to take the Ontology of Value self-assessment test, to a Claude project and to a job search agent. So that will be a very highly specialized tool. And then Albert's also going to show you what he built. So hopefully it'll give you some insights into how to optimize any work you do in Claude projects, but also really give you some powerful career tools as well. So, so with that said, we had a sponsor, Linda Becker. Linda, is she there yet? Have we had a chance to get her in? She just emailed me asking for the passcode. Let me see if I can get Linda. And she's just sending me 2 slides. There's Linda. Okay. And this is being recorded, correct, Albert? So we're going to be able to share this on YouTube later
Yep.
on. Great. So
This
this
is
is being
being live
recorded.
streamed on YouTube as we speak.
Yep. This is being recorded. So now I see Linda has joined us as a co-host. Linda, I've got your slides as backup in case you're not able to share them, but you should be able to share if you want to walk us through the slides.
They're not that advanced, but you're welcome to
Okay.
share them.
Okay.
Is it my time now or?
Yeah, this is your time. we
Great.
want you to kick off the
All
event
right.
and tell us about yourself and tell us about Merit America and the
Yeah,
good work you're
so
doing there.
yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
hi everyone. So it's great to be here. And I was looking at the agenda and you just recapped it for us. Everything from vibe coding to building your own AI job agent. And it's pretty clear that the old way of working is evolving really fast. And we're all here to do the same, to evolve, to stay relevant. And so I'm Linda Becker, and I'm with an organization called Merit America. We're a national nonprofit that acts as a bridge for working adults who are ready to transition into new careers, but need some support to do so successfully. So we do this by offering online training that's fully supported with one-on-one coaching and job search support. So we know that the Bay Area market is shifting, and many of you are looking to take deep professional experiences and pivot into roles that are maybe more stable, who knows at this point, but that are still tech enabled. And so here at Merit America, we offer 8 different tracks, and some are tech focused, but we also have tech adjacent ones. And our fastest growing pathways right now are those that are a little bit outside traditional IT roles, including in HR, so managing the most important assets in the AI era, people. We have a supply chain planning track that's solving the complex puzzle of global logistics. And then we have a new track called Operations Plus. And I wanted to do just a quick highlight of that track. It's designed specifically for this moment. It's a 12-week, part-time, fully virtual program that prepares people for roles like operations analyst or logistics lead. The plus is kind of why we're here tonight. It's the AI integration part. So we've partnered with Google to include the AI professional certificate. And in this track, we aren't just teaching how to build AI, we're teaching you how to use AI to optimize business processes. You'll learn how to take messy manual operations and use autonomous tools to make it lean and efficient. So it's a perfect pivot for someone who wants to remain an industry insider, but in a role with a little bit more longevity, hopefully. So Merit America makes switching careers possible because we provide fully supported training. Lots of people can sign up to take a class online, but it's very difficult to complete it. We have one-on-one career coaching that the coach works with you throughout the whole program, and that's kind of our secret sauce. We have a few eligibility criteria. You have to be over 18, have a high school diploma, no advanced degree, have the right to work in the US, and be proficient in English. We are a nonprofit, so the majority of the program cost is covered by philanthropic support. But on our website, you can learn more about how most learners are covering the balance of our program costs. If anyone is interested in learning more about Merit America or specifically about this operations track that the enrollment opens on Monday, you can contact me directly or check out our website. And that's it.
All right, Linda, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank you.
taking us through Merit America. So I would love to now introduce Natalia Bilchik, as I mentioned before, friend of our community, leader in our community in the HR tech community here in the Bay Area and around the world. Natalia hails from Poland via the Netherlands and via recent trips to Tibet and beyond. You've been all over the world, Natalia, gathering insights about how people work and how people contribute value. So without further ado, I'm very excited to have Natalia Bilchik present her ontology of value.
Thank you so much, Eric, for this wonderful introduction. The pleasure is mine. And I hope my presentation is visible, right? All good? Okay. And I will be watching the chat. I'll try to respond as soon as possible to the questions. Okay, so yeah, let's go. Let's kick off now. So very briefly, basically, as Eric has mentioned, I come from neuroscience, um, and I spent almost 10 years studying causal systems in the brain. It was very like deep philosophical and mathematical problem that was like had nothing to do with the job market actually. But then I realized that my positioning after a PhD was not very clear in the job market, and I had very high education, and for multiple reasons, I could not really cut out that optimal career path for myself, and I was always put in a box of a data. I have so many other competencies that I love to put to use, and I couldn't really find my way. And then I started researching the options, and that's how I basically started studying how to maximize one's potential and one's value in the job market. And that was the beginning of my company, and that was the beginning of what I'm doing until now, so almost another decade actually. And today I also so I started from building predictive tools that can show your competitive advantage in the job market as an individual. And then I moved to studying the general career strategy because in the age of AI, the career development became a chess 5D of sorts. Now it's a very complex strategic position game. And it's not only about finding your competitive advantages, but also playing those cards you have in your hand. So I'm trying to that's also why I come to San Francisco so often. I want to be on top of things and have insider knowledge into what's being built and which startups in the future of work are being funded at the moment. It's a fascinating field. So, and I also, as Eric mentioned, I also travel to places around the world. I've just been to China and India to these sites where I call it collective intelligence. It's these sites where science, arts, nature, spirituality come together, and incredible amount of innovation happens. You believe it or not, you can find villages in the Himalayas where people build startups in the hotel lobbies, and yeah, you just approach a random person. They have free startups in their basement, and it's incredible, but these sites exist. So I also basically travel and try to find all these people, those smart people scattered across the globe. So that's what I've been doing for the past 20 years. And so in practice, I analyze the job market now. I go to market, work on go-to-market strategies for my company. Being a bootstrapping solopreneur, this is a very complex game to play, and but also it's fascinating game. And again, and I seek innovation, talent all around the world, and via pitch nights and traveling. And let's stay connected. I'd love you to actually send me an invite via LinkedIn or Twitter, Instagram. I ran out of invitations for this week, so I cannot invite you. So if you want to stay connected with me, please send me an invite. Thank you. And I have two private announcements. First announcement, I actually have run a certification program that is specifically for professionals in career development. So HR professionals, independent career advisors, university career advisors, people, and also team leaders who want to be better at developing their talent. So if you are a person like this, or if you know anyone in your network who might benefit, we're actually running a demo day this Friday. So literally like in 36 hours or so, here in San Francisco in person at Union Square. So if you're interested, it's free. It's a demo version. Normally it's behind the paywall, but this time around it's for free. So you're cordially invited. So I'm putting a code here. If you're interested, please join us. And another announcement, actually, I'm in touch with a hockey stack team. They have a number of really attractive positions, about 20 jobs open here in San Francisco. And one thing about that company, they are very dynamic and moving fast. So, and they actually stress this out. So if you feel like you're a person who likes fast pace, work pace, then oh wow, thank you so much, Annette. So yeah, Annette has the certification. So yeah, she's great to be around, and yeah, I love to work with you, Annette. Yeah, and with Hacky Stack, if you feel like you're a person who loves speed, has a need for speed, then let me know and I can put you through right to the team. Yeah, but only for people who actually really like yeah, speed, because like the team has a high difficulty finding proper candidates for that particular reason. So it's only for particular personalities, I'd say. Okay, so let's now start the actual workshop. So question for the audience. What lives in the ocean? What kind of animals? Tell me. I expect interaction here. Octopus. Okay, great. What else? What's the biggest? What's the biggest? Whale. Perfect. Whale, and then what else? Sponges? Fish. Great. Dolphin, shark, capybara. Yeah. Uh, Algae. What else? Walrus. Yeah, octopus. Okay, octopus. Okay, then fish. And but what's the smallest in the ocean? Animals only. Plankton. Yes, perfect. Plankton. So the messages of this slide is that the bigger the animal, the smaller number of those animals, right? The plankton is the most numerous. It's actually everywhere in the sea. There are billions and billions of plankton. There are very few whales. So there is this scale-free distribution. And so all these creatures live in the ocean. And we have that wonderful ecosystem. And I use this as a parallel of a jellyfish. Jellyfish, yeah, hermit crab. You guys are creative. I like it. Bacteria, yeah, bacteria should be on the far right? To be perfectly honest, bacteria should be the last one. Okay. All right. So I use this slide as a metaphor of the job market because what do we have in the job market in the world economy? We also have creatures that kind of coexist together in like one big landscape. It's one ecosystem, and we have a few big like whales, like Walmart. Walmart is the biggest employer in the world. It's 2 million employees. Then we have Amazon, 1.5. Then we have BID. It's a car company from China, 1 million. And what is a mimic? Minos? Is that an animal? Maybe I learned something new. Then we have Accenture, Volkswagen, and etc. etc. So, and then we have one-person companies, right? So it's like a big ecosystem like the ocean. And I use the slide to give like a metaphor of a career because like we all swim in this ocean and we have to find our ways. And in a way today, like we have such a gig economy and hustle economy, hustle culture. And even if we are employed full time, then we still have to build our reputation, build our like identity as a professional, and make sure that we have stakeholders in multiple organizations, not just one. So in a way, we have to treat our careers as building a business of in the limit of one employee. So we have to find our way in this ocean. And well, I just said that. So, but in fact, it's a very complex game, right? Because regardless, like regarding which um, um, angle you take, it can this like this game can be like poker, it can be like martial art, it can be like business development. You know, if you play the boardroom game, right, or if you go to a job interview, you have limited information. You see your cards, you don't see other people's cards, right? You don't know what your competitors in the job interview have in their cards, right? You don't know if you have the strongest hand or not. So you have to operate like by a poker table and put your bets and hope for luck. If you do like short-term and mid-term projects, it's more like you have to kind of find a synergy of mind and body to be sustainably efficient and not burn out, right? To keep things in rotation and keep balance so that you balance out your multiple duties in work and life. And in the very long term, when in the term like in the scope of years, you have to think long term, like you building a business, right? So it's more of a business development. So it really depends in what time scale you're looking. And I would use a parallel again to the nature of universe. So when you look into micro scale, in like when you look into single atoms, it's a different physics and according to different rules. So it's a different game, and there are different rules of physics in a way.
And if you look from a bigger perspective, from in a macro scale, the rules are completely different, right? So depending how you look, like this is the game is just a different game. So again, this is really. Oh, the hack is. Oh, really? Oh, sorry about that.
Don't worry, Natalia. Why don't you not pay attention to the chat? And if a question comes up, we'll let you know so you can focus on presenting.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so today we are focusing on the long-term perspective on business development. Okay, so in business, you sell things, right? You have to have a product. The product in that case is you. But what does it mean? What do you have to sell? So there are three different pillars to what you sell as a professional. We typically focus in our CVs on this first level, so the level of what you can achieve as a professional, like with your own hands. So the tasks you learn to execute and the skills that you mastered. So the programming languages, the foreign languages, the technical skills, writing skills, communication skills. But these are all the things you can achieve as an individual in the workplace. So this is typically like almost 100% of the attention we put into when we speak to a recruiter. But what is also important is what you can achieve in a team, how you naturally position yourself toward other people in your team, and the way of creating value that's natural for you in a team. So some people are natural managers, others are natural specialists, etc. So it's really important. And sometimes you don't have information about this because if you never got a shot to be a manager, how can you know if you would be a good manager, right? So this is a latent information you might not have about yourself. And third level is the level of the whole like work environment. So which work environments would you actually are you an animal that would be better off in like southern seas or northern seas, right? Like, are you more entrepreneurial or corporate? If you don't have much professional experience, you might not know this, right? Or maybe you would be a great academic at university. If you don't have an experience or you spend your whole career in one environment, you might have difficulty figuring that out because life is short, right? You cannot try everything by trial and error. It will take you forever. And so this is a real dilemma. And which of these levels have been influenced by AI the most? What would you say, audience? Sorry, I will ask the audience questions because it's just my style of speaking. The self, yes, exactly. So the first level, exactly. Because AI replaces tasks. So AI is directly competing with your skills, right? So the level of skills is the most influenced by AI, exactly. And the other two levels, little bit less. So the second level is this tribal kind of behaviors that we've been having for the past thousands of years, right? So these change very, very slowly because it's been thousands of years since we live in tribes of sorts. So we just always living in a group. We always share tasks regarding who is best at what, right? And with the structure and the fabric of the society, it also didn't really change since AI got to the market because we still have corporations, consulting firms, government, private companies, freelancers, and so like all these creatures have to be there for the economy to work. So this didn't really change much. And the test I built basically addresses these two higher levels that you might actually not have like figured out for yourself based on your CV. And this is actually a test based on 4 types of variables. I will not spend much attention talking about this here. And what you get at the end is uh, the ranking of roles and ranking of work environments where you would, given your results, you would potentially be most effective at. So the higher the percentile, the more natural aptitude you have to perform in that role or in that environment. So this is like a cheat sheet. It's like the landscape of your competitive advantage in the job market. And we validated this, like we did satisfaction studies after 7 days and after between 3 months and 3 years from taking the test. It was like really, really good. And the test is also standardized on population of professionals from 16 countries, all the Western circle, so Western Europe and US. and also testing the team version for Teams right now. And I have a code for you that you can use to take the test. Actually, if you subscribe for this event more than 24 hours ago, then I also sent you this code by email. But if you just subscribed right now, today, or like last evening, then you probably don't have this code just yet. In that case, you can now take take a shot of this slide and do the test. You have a deadline until Sunday, so you can still take the test if you like. 3 more seconds, and now I would like to focus more on the core competency, since maybe some of you have been to my talk last year, and last year I used to talk more about the roles and work environments. So today I would like to actually focus on the first level for the persons who already saw my talk before. So let's talk about core competencies. So what are core competencies? That's a great question, because this is something different from skills. It's a very specific type of skills, and it's not necessarily what you have in your CV. So they have a core competency is a type of a skill that has these properties. First of all, it's transferable, which means that it's useful in very many different contexts, in different industries, different roles, different positions. For instance, negotiation skills, probably transferable, right? You can use negotiation skills almost anywhere. Let alone like get a job, because of course the negotiation skills boost your chances at every job interview, right? So that's almost like self-explanatory. Versus, let's say, an ability to read Latin language. Is it very useful in most work environments these days? Probably not, just very specific ones, right? If you're a medical doctor, maybe. But other than that, it's not very like widely applicable. Next, it brings a measurable value to the employer. So builds a brand, brings revenue or cuts costs in a very direct way. So the message is the employer clearly sees the value of the skill. For instance, if you can negotiate every contract on average 20% up, that's very clear revenue stream, like additional revenue stream or revenue boost to the employer. So that's very clear value. Like you can show it in numbers. So the employer, for them, it's like a no-brainer. This is actually a great skill to have. Then next, it's scarce. So it's not something that somebody could learn overnight. So there are lots of skills that literally anyone could learn. What could that be? I guess ChatGPT, right? Like talking to ChatGPT, we all just started doing it, right? Like just chatting, prompting chat. Like we didn't need any instruction. We just opened it and started chatting. So this is something that, well, to a certain degree, it's actually straightforward. Only at certain level of difficulty and expertise, it's actually like a scarce skill. And then what is actually equally important, if not the most important, it's something that is associated with the activity that you enjoy. Some of these activities where you feel like time passes by like nothing, right? Time flies, these flow states that it doesn't make you tired. So things that feel like play to you, but feel like work to others, because this is the only way to kind of outcompete everyone, right? If you choose a task that is easy to you but it's hard for others and it feels fun to you, it's hard to outcompete a person who has fun 16 hours a day, right? That's what Naval Ravikant always says. And these are essential competencies because they open most doors, they create unique value as an employee. But it's also hard to figure them out by yourself, because you might not realize that what is easy for you is difficult for others, right? And also sometimes we associate the most value with the things that cost us the most effort. So if something feels effort, let's say we grinded hard to learn how to program in Python. We are not natural coders. We put a lot of effort into learning this. So we naturally feel proud, right? We feel proud because, yeah, this is our kind of accomplishment, that eventually we got to a certain level. We are now beginner in Python, even though we had to sweat hard in the evenings for the past 3 years and we didn't make fast progress, but we are we are proud, so we put this skill on the top of our CV. But this is not our core competence because it's not naturally easy for us. It's actually something that we had to grind hard for. And this is a problem because when the recruiter sees a skill listed on top of our CV, they're like, okay, that person must, they put this skill first, so they must be really like a dominant player, right? They must have like extraordinary competence in the skill. So they will fit you to a position that actually has exposition for that skill, like the tasks that require that skill. So as you can see, it's like very like it's tricky question what your competencies are, core competencies are. And but it's also crucial to figure that out before you actually start your job application process. And these are like can be talents that you never mention in your CV, like ability to listen, right? It's something sometimes it's something that you will not never put on your CV, but what's important is that you know about them, because when you know about them, it's like a unfair advantage in the job market. Okay, so now question for you. What do you think is the relationship between core competencies and transferable skills? Which one of these three pictures? So one of these colors is transferable skills, the other is core competencies. Matthew says A. Okay, Matthew is a neuroscientist, so I know that he's smart, and it's obviously A, yes. So every core competency is transferable, but not the other way around. Great. Okay, so just one like disclaimer, can be anything. It could be technical skills, personal competences. So there are different classes of competences. So you have to look broadly, be creative, because core competence could be anything, almost. Now the quiz for you. So which one of these, so let's say that you have a few core competencies, right? You found them. And now what do you think, which of the following games best illustrates how you should use those competencies at work? Which of these games? Gregory says poker. Dina says poker. Sash says chess. Okay, okay. Faster. We don't have time. Like I'm already like past half time. Okay, so most people says either poker or chess. Actually, to me, it's actually chess. Even though I mentioned poker in the context of recruitment, but I think here I would say chess, and I tell you why. So core competency, well, the thing is, when you have core competencies, you have to know how to combine them together to make them powerful, because they usually, one competence by itself is not all that powerful. So in chess, for instance, you have these two uh, bishops, and when they have two different colors, black and white, they are extremely strong together. And just examples. There is this sad example of this famous DJ Avicii, who unfortunately is not among us anymore. And he was extremely scared of public appearances. And when you're a DJ, producing music is not enough, right? You have to also play concerts. You have to show your face to the crowd. You have to animate people, animate crowd. And you can be as bad as Tiesto. He's terrible animator, but he still enjoys it, right? He's going out to the crowd. And if you're scared of that, then you will have a hard time developing your career. And he got extremely stressed, and yeah, he had mental problems, and it ended up extremely unwell. But that's just one example. Like if you are if you are a music producer and a DJ, you have to be able to also do public appearances. Like your love for music is not enough. Another example, if you want to be a renowned author and write books and live off from writing books, just going to the countryside and just writing books from your countryside house, from your garden, is not enough. You have to also be good at public speaking and not selling your work. Otherwise, you will never be a yeah, best-selling author, and you will never be able to live off from your writing. So usually, like your like this best core competence that makes you unique has to also be accompanied by others. And this kind of yeah, and another example, in the Netherlands, students of bioinformatics and biotechnology now, they also like started studying coding in the evenings. Well, this is an example from a few years back. Now they are probably vibe coding, but if anyways, they kind of figured that if they have that additional skill that they can write code, then they will be more valuable for the employer than a biotechnology student that just knows how to do lab work. So if they have both skills, they actually they can replace two employees, an analyst and the laboratory worker. So they started studying on the side, like massively. So this is usually what. I'm just okay. I just got the information that I have a few minutes left, so I have to speed up. So your core competencies are just a subset of your transferable skills, which are a subset of your skills, which is not the same division of soft skills and hard skills. So this is like a different division. Just one word on that. Okay. And I have an exercise for you, which I'm not sure if I have time for. Let's just do like 3 examples, okay? So let's just do this. John has the following strengths. Which of these can be his core competencies? What do you think? Let's go through a few examples. He's a master of Grand Theft Auto GTA in his town. Do you think it might be a core competence? That's a fastball. You have to be quick because we are running out of time. Yeah, no, yes, no, nach, no. Uh, okay, I also think it's not, unless it's like very special case. Okay, I don't think so. Yes, he can always spot the best deals in Walmart. Oh, somebody already gave me a list. That's great. No, yes. Yes. Yeah, so this with this Walmart example, it might be a sign of a core competency. If he's good at spotting deals in general in any store, it might be actually a core competence. Okay, he can negotiate well, that we already discussed. Yes, that's a core competence. 20 years ago, he won a school competition in literature. Is that a core competence? No, I also think it's not, unless he did something with that ability to. Storytelling is a great skill, but you have to develop it. He's the heart and soul of every party. Yes or no? Yes? No? Can be. Yes, no. Like half half. Yeah, I would say it's a core competence because like in sales, in all professions that require contact with people, the ability to make people feel good around you is a great ability. Actually, in any job, in fact. So yeah, navigating social interactions, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I think you get it. So we can move on. This is another example. We have Hannah, who is good at mathematics and visual arts. Question, which of these professions might be potentially good for her? Like I have 2 examples in mind on this list. What do you think she might be willing to, as a career to pursue to actually best develop her core competencies? Graphic and interior architect. Yeah, architect is probably a good direction. Graphic designer. Well, graphic designer typically doesn't use as much mathematics, right? Architect more so, because architect has to be great at maths. Something else? Okay, I would also say front-end developer, right? Because front-end developer has to take care of the looks, the graphic, the style, the visual. Yeah, has to have a good taste for visual aspect of the website. So I'd say UX, exactly. Okay, all right. So yeah, prompt engineer, maybe. All right, so how to determine one's core competency? Well, I have to speed up, sorry. So we already mentioned that before. This is this concept of flow states. Flow states are these state of mind where you basically time flies, all your good neurotransmitters get crazy right in your head. And so how to find those flow states? Well, self-observation, right? What makes me happy? What feels easy to me? What gives me energy? And also self-reflection. What were the past mistakes? What went wrong in my projects to figure out, okay, 2 minutes over time. Okay. And you can also do 360-degree interview. Last words. So like we usually in the West we follow Buddhism or Ikigai quite closely, but we are not very familiar with Confucianism or Taoism. I myself actually spent some time recently in China to learn about Taoism, and the main core concept of Taoism is like you have to stop grinding, you have to learn how to sell instead of rowing. and start balancing your life out. So yeah, this place, Fudang Taoist Wellness Academy, very like highly recommended. And last thing, very last thing, which I think I also mentioned last time, but anyways, what's the most universal transferable skill? What do you think? Which one? You have 3 seconds. B, kindness. D, creativity. Okay, try to be creative in the army. It's not always good to be creative. Yeah, it's kindness. And do you know the sheep? What's the name of the sheep? Anyone? Yeah, this sheep was famously known as Shrek. No, Shrek. Yeah, he was found in the woods of New Zealand, and yeah, he's been gone for like 6 years. And the wolves tried to kill him, but he grew so much wool that he was too fluffy, and they couldn't bite him. So that's the message. You have to be so fluffy, no one can touch you. Okay, thank you for your attention. This is the code for you. Yeah, yeah. But he's naked now. They cut all this wool drastically. Okay, so this is a code you can use to take the test. I wish you all the best with your career. And now let me stop sharing my screen and let me introduce you to Irana, our next speaker. Irana Nexica, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for active participation. Irana Nexica is one of the San Francisco's top tech recruiters. She brings together community building, coaching, and the future of work perspectives to empower people in rapidly changing labor markets. And today she will tell you about the power prompts for AI and free job search resources. Thank you so much. Give the floor to you, Irana.
Oh,
Thank
great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I am Irene. And let me set up my screen sharing here so that I can offer you my presentation. Can everybody see it okay? Go ahead and give me an emoji or a react. Okay, great. Super. So yeah, I'm going to talk today about a little bit about how to use AI to support but not lead your job search. And thank you so much for that wonderful introduction there, Natalia. I'm basically someone who started in tech recruiting for big tech like Facebook and startups. The recruiter job market tanked in 2023, and so my career coaching side hustle turned into full-time work with organizations doing workforce development. So I'm a full-time career coach and now a part-time recruiter looking to get back into recruiting, currently freelancing for nonprofits, helping them build equitable processes that are great candidate experiences. For my coaching clients, basically, I reverse engineer the job search and I help people understand hiring from a recruiter and a hiring team perspective. So for this session, that's me. I'm going to talk a little bit about ways I would suggest are the best way to use AIs to be effective, and a little bit about what I'd avoid. I'm going to talk about some basic AI use. Eric and Albert will be focusing more on more complex ways to use AI. They're all valid. So it's really about what you want to do and how you want to do it. So I love that this conference will give you some tips wherever you are in terms of using AI. I'm also, as Eric mentioned, going to give you some job search resources to help you grow your skills and understanding. If there's time, I'm looking for Q&A. If there's not time for Q&A, I'm going to share my QR code. My name is also easy to look up so that you can find me on LinkedIn. Just feel free to reach out and connect and we can talk that way. So I want to talk a little bit about using AI effectively in your job search. And I'm going to start a little bit with some of the pitfalls of using AI. And one of the major ones that I'm experiencing as a recruiter is that AI generated applications are basically clogging recruiting pipelines. In recruiting, we call this spray and pray. When it's outbound, it means I hardly do any research on people. I might do a LinkedIn search that says web developer. And then I send everybody who's got web developer in their LinkedIn profile an outreach email. And with that email, I catch people who are no longer web developers. I catch recruiters who are also hunting for web developers. And so tons of people get a bunch of junk from me and say, boy, that Irene really isn't very intelligent. If they had bothered to look at my profile, they'd see I am not a web developer. So it wastes everybody's time, basically. The other reason I think that AI needs to be interrogated a little bit is that networking skills, I think, like Annette is going to cover tonight, are really an important key to kind of keeping your job search human. You will be likely hired by humans no matter how much AI you use in your job search. So networking can help increase the chances your application gets seen. And so if you, in recruiting, we look at some stats. So if I'm a great recruiter and I can send out 10 emails and get 5 responses, that's a 50% response rate. That's way better than a spray and pray 200 emails that gets a 1% response rate. And it's the same as what networking can do for you. So we really want to think about how we use AI, because the problem with AI right now is it's not just big tech where people really want to have that name on their resume that's now getting spammed with resumes, which was true even before AI existed. Now organizations of all sizes are getting tons of junk applications built by AI. That means your beautiful customized one will not likely be seen. The other reason that AI I think is a pitfall is that AI has a voice. And by that, I mean, when you look at AI produced materials, they have kind of a similar sound and feeling. If you're active on LinkedIn, you can see that right now. A lot of people are using AI to write their posts, and a lot of people sound like other people. That means that as a recruiter, if I'm looking at 200 resumes a session, I very quickly learn the voice of AI, and I very quickly start getting my antenna up about who's submitting AI produced applications. Those are less likely to get you a reach out because I can't tell if it's true or not. AI loves to flatter us and produce amazing resumes that we can't back up with an interview. So it's useful to be aware of that as a job applicant in terms of how much you lean on AI. The other pitfall of AI that I see is bias. So AI biases can hurt job seekers racially, gender-wise, age-wise, disability-wise, career gaps, non-traditional backgrounds. AI hiring systems have been shown to penalize applicants from historically Black colleges, women's colleges, or other schools that don't match patterns in past hiring data. So it's basically amplifying human bias that used to exist. And this is useful to know for your applications. I'm going to switch now and talk about some ways AI can benefit you. And one way that I think you can use AI and keep the human in the equation is to learn prompt engineering skills. AI is really only as good as you are in terms of understanding what you're trying to build for and how you tell the AI to build that thing. It's great at collating lots of data and summarizing it and stuff like that, and you could leverage those strengths. So prompt engineering skills are really key. And what a prompt is it's basically the instructions you give the AI model, whichever one you're using, to tell it what you want it to do. So if you can match being up to date on what a contemporary job search looks like and how to be successful in that with your AI, you can be a really strong candidate. And what do I mean by prompts? So this is what I would call a prompting framework example. And that means in your prompt, you have most of these elements. And I'll walk you through them in an example in a second. So the persona is who you are. So you might say, act like a top tech recruiter. Look at my resume. What do you see? The task is, what are you doing? Please take this job description and collate it into sections organized by types of skills. The goal is you're letting it know what you want it to do. What do you want it to produce at the end? The steps might be walk me through this. So take this job description, first break it down, then research the company and do this, then produce some bullet points addressing these skills, whatever you want it to do. Context and constraints might be, please limit all of your research to the company that I'm applying for when you're trying to figure out what are the best things I could say in my application. The output you desired could be like, produce this as a spreadsheet, produce this as an outline, produce this as an email, whatever. And then asking it to ask for any clarification it needs before it starts doing whatever you've just asked it to do can help you figure out what AI might tend to want to fill in the blank with, and give it exact instructions rather than letting it fill in that blank and you get back something that makes you scratch your head. So here's an example. This is something I would type into an AI prompting window. Act as a skilled recruiter evaluating resumes for the product manager role at the Sesame Street workshop. And then I gave it the URL so it could research the company, to decide who to invite for a screening call. So in brackets here, I've given the prompt the persona. It's a skilled recruiter. The context is the company and the company website, and a little bit of the task. It's evaluating resumes. The job description is attached, and then I would either attach it as a document or I could paste it below. And that's giving it context and constraint. The constraint in part is the job description. So it's evaluating this resume not against every job Sesame Street Workshop hires for, but specifically the product manager. Please evaluate the resume pasted below and provide collated skill sets organized into bullet points showing areas where the applicant, so here it's comparing the resume versus the job description, and areas that the resume doesn't address the job description. Please ask for any clarification needed before performing this task. So I've given it the resume and the job description, and I've told it what I want it to do with it, which is basically act like a recruiter and tell me how strong my resume is to apply for this product management role. So that's an example of how you can use it without really knowing any, flim flam. Well, it's not flim flam, but without knowing any like super specialized AI skill sets. This is kind of maybe how you would talk to an assistant helping you out so that they gave you back something that was exactly what you wanted it. If you're thinking about privacy, you can paste or upload the resume without your identifying information. You can, kind of think about where you fall on the privacy scale. I'm not going to be talking about it big time, but I know that's a big concern for you. If you're using AI to generate text for you, like say you want it to write your cover letter or even your bullet points, you can train an AI voice. So the voice, again, is like the personal way you put words and ideas together. It includes the vocabulary you use. It includes the syntax you use. It includes the tone. It includes the rhythm. So when I get a ton of cover letters, because I work for nonprofits, those are very important to show you are excited by their mission. I can tell the ones that are written by AI, not just because of the M dash, but because, again, I see cover letter after cover letter after cover letter. When they're all using the same phrasing and the same structure, it's not automatic knockout of your application, but I say to the hiring manager, I think this cover letter was written by AI. And that makes us wonder, yeah, how much are you into the mission? Could you even tell us the mission if we talk to you right now? Because your mission excitement might have been written by AI. To do this, you can speak your prompts into the app. That can help train it on your voice. If you can type like you write, meaning I think of something and the thing that I type out sounds like I was speaking it, that can help you train it in your voice. You can also use, for example, in Claude, you can use projects and skills to build a voice profile. That's a little bit more complex. I'm going to let Albert and Eric talk a little more about that, but you can look it up, how to kind of train your AI models to talk more like you talk and less like this generic model that's based on everything that's ever been fed to it, which unfortunately doesn't include everything ever written in everybody's voice. All right. So just some quick cautions. Avoid using it to write the whole text. I really encourage you to use it to do the research and give you ideas, but use your own writing. If you need help with that, I'm going to give you some resources at the end to help you with that. But really, even if your resume looks amazing, you're going to have to tell stories, likely live and in person or live over video. I know there are AI tools that will scroll for you an AI answer to a question you've just been asked. Generally, recruiters feel like we can tell. And it makes us wonder, do you really know how to do this? Or are you reading something that sounds great, but if we hired you on the job, you'd fall flat on your face. So the best you can do is really write it out on your own words. Make sure you understand processes and can talk through your stories yourself. All right.
Hey, Irene.
Yes.
Before you go into your resources, there was a question about do you know where AI is getting its data on how recruiters think when they review resumes? Is it based on resumes that were converted into offers?
Yeah, if it's okay, can I save all the questions for the end? Because I
Sure.
might address it in my presentation, and I'd
Oh,
love to
okay.
kind of collate them if it's okay. But
Yep.
great question. I think that's really useful to understand. In general, as we know, AI scrapes the web and publish sources and stuff like that. So that's largely what it was trained on, would be my guess. I haven't done extensive research into this. There actually is a lot of research on AI bias. I have a whole separate talk about that. And so there's a lot of understandings about it. And Eric and Albert might be great people to answer this as well. But my understanding is basically AI searches the web, which is why at this point, when you try to log into some sites, it verifies you're a human before you can get in, because those sites don't want AI to scrape them. So yeah, in brief. Okay. This is the wrong slide for what I wanted right now. Okay. So I will talk you through what I was gonna share in terms of other ways, other things you can do for AI. So you can use AI, in my suggestion, to, as I kind of talked us through, analyze a job description to find and group the major skill sets that it's describing, so you can identify how your skills match. And also you can figure out, wow, like this job description is really heavy on cross-functional skills. I better be ready to talk about that a lot, even if the answer I'm giving is about how I built a particular product or something like that. AI can also do the research to help you understand the company and the problem that the job you're applying for is supposed to solve and address, so that you can talk that through in the interview. That's a really strong interviewing technique, to say, hey, well, this role you're hiring me so that I can fix this problem. Let me tell you about another example where I fixed this problem, or what I would do to approach a problem I think your company has, blah, blah, blah. So that can help you be really strong in terms of researching the company really deeply. Again, it's combing the web in a way that in the olden days, we'd have to do it manually, collate all the information manually. AI can help you with that. So that would be, annual reports, press releases, articles written about the company, et cetera, et cetera. What others are saying about the company is also something that AI can pull together for you. And if you're deliberately looking for any of that material, you'd put that in your prompt. Please find articles critical about this company's blah, blah, blah initiative, if that's the initiative you'd be working on, and offer some suggestions on how I could talk about that in terms of my own skill set. AI can help you research the interviewers to figure out how things you say in the interview may resonate with them. It's just a psychological tactic for interviewing. It can help you figure out your transferable skills. So I want to be, I've been a recruiter. I want to be a technical writer. What recruiting skills would typically transfer well? And what should I start focusing on learning to be a credible interviewer for that role? AI can help you show the gaps between your resume and the job description. If you're on LinkedIn actively, there's tons of people offering tips of AI prompts to help you do your searching. In my coaching practice, I work with folks to develop them as well. It's like any other skill. It's a muscle that you build by practicing over time, by putting in a prompt and learning how to refine it. AI skills themselves are often good to put on your resume. So if you're trying to run your job search on AI, talking about the skills you're learning can make you a more standout candidate for a job. And then I don't suggest, as I mentioned, using AI to write the actual text you use in your resume and stuff like that. The last thing I'm going to talk about is addressing bias in AI, which I mentioned for a minute. So AI assessment systems, so that's when people are worried about how recruiters are using AI to evaluate your resumes and stuff like that. They generally learn from past hiring decisions. So if the company is using AI, they're looking at the hires that the company has done in the past to train the AI on who they want to hire in the future. Past hiring decisions, honestly, like often current hiring decisions, frequently reflect human prejudices and biases rather than objective merit. So when the training is biased, the AI reproduces that bias and makes it look objective because it comes from an algorithm. This is an issue As a job seeker, you're trying to dodge that bullet. It needs to be addressed system-wide, and I'm not sure what's being done for that, but I want to kind of highlight that for you. My suggestion of the best way to reduce AI bias in that way is to make your materials more skill-based, more standardized, less revealing of demographic proxies. This is why you don't put your zip code on your resume, because it reveals something about your demographics that should have no bearing on the job. Practical steps to do this would be take out your graduation year, take out your full address, take out photos, use standard resume formats, asking AI to focus on job relevant skills in producing your materials rather than things that might be biased against you in terms of what we call your pedigree in recruiting. And that means like you went to this school or that school, you worked at this company or that company. If you're interested in exploring this more, I do have coaching services where I work with both job seekers and employers to try to fix this problem. What I'm suggesting now doesn't fix it. It just tries to, again, dodge the bullet of that problem. Another thing that happens with bias in technology is code switching. So that's a little bit about speaking the language of the company and also speaking the language of hiring. I don't have a silver bullet for this either. I have done things like develop a custom GPT that helps you understand the more normative styles of interviewing and the language people use in interviewing, so that if your language patterns tend to be non-normative and you're worried that would prejudice folks against you, you can basically learn a different style of speaking. This works often for neurotypical people. It also helps people whose first language wasn't English. Again, it's not a solution to the problem. The problem is language patterns and cultural biases that deprivilege certain people when interviewing. And that still needs to be solved, but this can help you in the more immediate future if you're applying for a job. Okay. It's a lot of information. I should have warned you to have a notebook and a pen, but I know we're going to have this up on YouTube forever, so feel free to rewatch. Now I'm going to shift into these job search resources that I want to offer. I want to actually offer a couple that are AI related from the bat. One of them is Callings AI, actually. They did not sponsor my talk. They didn't sponsor my section. They don't sponsor me. But I did find out about them from a past conference here at Albert's List. I do use it as a tool with my clients. So I welcome you to check it out. It's one of many. It's not the only one out there. But I have found it with all of the different tools out there like JobScan, et cetera, really valuable in terms of saving you time in the administration work it takes for your search. What I do with my clients is really encourage them to use that time to make their writing better, make their applications more human and customized. So one standout feature that I'll just mention that it has is called My Campaign. It's basically a way to like rally your networks, help you track referrals, help you unlock hidden jobs. It's kind of like Kickstarter is what it reminds me of. So it really, I think, takes a lot of the benefits of AI and puts them all in one place, lets you kind of use them. So check it out. You know how to find me on LinkedIn. Would love to hear your feedback on it or how you're using it. That, I'm obviously not mentioning everything it does, but have found it, was glad to find out about it, have found it useful with clients. The other thing for me is I am super excited and intensely involved in privacy and how AI does and doesn't engineer privacy. One thing that's appealing to me about Callings AI is they explicitly think about privacy and talk about it for their product. Your data isn't used to train models, which is a big concern for me. And so that's something to look into too and see if that matches up with what you're looking for.
We
Another
haven't
resource.
paid Irene, but obviously we have to.
Well, what else? What else?
Thank you, Irene.
People who know me know I'm really honest. If I don't like something, I have a very hard time not talking about that publicly. That gets me in more trouble than praising things I like publicly. The other thing I'm going to mention is, and again, I'm not mentioning everything. These are just some highlights for me that I've recently come across. There is an upcoming product coming up from Embrace Change, which is a career coaching site focused on women of color, who are a group that often is largely left out of AI. You can read books of lots of women of color AI researchers talking about how incredibly biased AI has been for them and their work and what it does for other folks. This is called the Women of Color Mentor app. Again, it doesn't exist yet, but I've seen a beta of it. It's basically personalized career guidance designed for professional women of color. They say it can navigate workplace challenges, make confident decisions, and allow you to thrive in your career with expert AI coaching available 24/7. So I'm assuming the models that they've trained it on are very women of color specific. I think that's great because most AI, as I've tested it, gives you not very great answers when you ask it to be specific about women of color. Launch information, I guess I'll have to type it into the chat, but it's basically at embracechange.nyc/startup /sign up, and I'll tape that text. No, wait a minute. Type that into the chat as soon as my presentation here is finished. Embracechange.nyc is the basic website. If you go to the sign up page, you're signing up for their newsletter. They will be announcing when it's fully released. Okay, other resources. These are general. So these resources, again, they are not linked with AI specifically. You can ask AI to comb this site though and give you information. And just in general, as a human being, I find them really useful for learning more about the job search, learning more about different occupations, learning more about different job types, how to interview, et cetera, et cetera. So I always love to share them. They're free. Some of them are based on government data, but make it way more digestible. I am not clear at this point how accurate government data is to the contemporary time, but the data that it was, likely last imported into it is likely good. That's all I can say. I haven't done tons of research in this. So ONET Online is basically a place where you can research labor market information. You can find occupations. It will show you occupations that are expected to go rapidly in the next couple of years, occupations that have a lot of job openings, occupations that are new or emerging. You can also find career clusters, which are occupations in the same field of work that require similar skills. So if you're tired of being a medical assistant, you might find a medical administrative assistant and see if that's something that would interest you as a way to pivot with your skills. It'll show you job families. These are groups of occupations that are similar based on the work performed, the skills, education, and credentials. So it's career change without having to totally reskill. And then it has an interest profile where if you say, I want to be a technical writer, it will help you connect your interests to possible jobs and careers. So that's one option there. Another one is similar, Career One Stop. This is a centralized hub for workforce resources. It provides tools that simplify job hunting, career exploration, and skill development. You can research industries here. You can find career options based on your current or past jobs. I find this site actually a little easier to use than ONET, but I suggest poking through both of them. Self-assessments here to help you explore careers and other resources. And what I really love about this site is it buckets job search by different profiles. So it has a special section for resources for job seekers who are over 55 years old, another section for disabled people, another section for LGBTQ folks, veterans, justice impacted people. So it's a great one-stop shop if you're like, I really want to understand how to job seek in a way that's more kind of customized to who I am. That's super, I think, valuable. Another awesome resource, and these resources are all free, is why I'm highlighting them. The library is a great place to find, and this is like any library anywhere in the US. I'm not as familiar with libraries outside of the US except for Canada and UK, but in general, they will have electronic resources for job seekers. I'm listing San Francisco here because they have in-person workshops for job seekers, webinars for job seekers. They have a whole room filled with books for job seekers and a librarian who specializes in job seekers. They also have a lot of electronic resources. If you have a San Francisco library card, you get free access to LinkedIn Learning. You get free access to online job coaching, Let's Live. So it's there, it's a great resource. Our taxes pay for our libraries. They're for us to use. In California, if you're a resident of California, you can generally get a library card for any library located in California. So if your particular city doesn't offer resources that you're looking for, but you can see them on another library nearby, say San Francisco, their website will give you information on how to get a library card, and you can use all the resources that they have. So just cannot big up the libraries. And most people don't use them, and they're like a total goldmine from my perspective. If you're looking for free coaching to help you figure out how the job search works so you can write better prompts, there's a federal program called WIOA, which basically gets you free access to a job coach. You can spend up to $5,000 on certain sorts of approved job trainings. That's $5,000, yes. And also can get you access to what are called supportive services, meaning if you need a transit card to be able to go to and from job interviews, et cetera, there's often funding available for that. You can sign up for WIOA via your nearest America's Job Center, and you can find that using the website I already showed, careeronestop.org. What else do I have here? BrainFuse and Job Now is the service where you basically, during certain hours of the day, you can connect online with a job coach, or not a job coach, somebody who can help you do interview practice. So they can help you with interview prep, resume writing, resume review. It's generally accessed through libraries. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I know the Santa Clara Library around here offers it. I know the San Francisco Public Library offers it. But look for BrainFuse or Job Now. That's the service, and hopefully you can access that as well if you're in the US. Again, not sure about other countries, but check it out. Maybe there's some other service. Again, hit up your library. They will know. They will know. In the San Francisco Bay Area, coaching is also available, and it's available through tons of orgs. I'm just highlighting a few in the San Francisco Bay Area. For folks who identify as women, and that includes gender expansive folks and trans women, Dress for Success San Francisco, and I've listed their website here, also offers coaching sessions online, coaching sessions in person. They offer wardrobe to help people dress up for interviewing and also dress up for their jobs. So wherever you are, look for these kind of local groups. If they help you get a job, if they push you to success, please donate to them and help somebody who was once where you are, is my only suggestion around that. Okay. I do have a minute for Q&A. I did not use AI to write this presentation, by the way. I want to highlight that.
I mean, we're 5 minutes over time, so we
we're
don't have
5
time
minutes
for
over
Q&A.
time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So
Okay.
we need to wrap it up and pass it over to Annette.
I'm done. So I'll just share one more slide. Feel free to screenshot or grab it. That is a QR code to my LinkedIn profile. That is my LinkedIn URL. Look forward to continuing the conversation there. And thanks for inviting me, folks. I would now like to introduce Annette Pearson, who is an executive. Thanks for all the claps. I appreciate that. I can see them. An executive coach. Annette, I need to make a huge mea culpa to you because I didn't realize I was going to introduce you. I don't have superlatives, and
Don't worry, I will introduce myself with a little bit more detail, and I appreciate all of the information that you've shared. I always find your content so informative, and I'm inspired to go to the library.
Well, I've definitely worked with Annette on many of these conferences, and the presentations are amazing. So looking forward to yours. And yeah, I owe you a big time coffee or something for falling down on the intro.
No worries. I am excited to be here. Hi, everyone. So as Eric mentioned earlier, my presentation is networking is not a bad word. And a lot of people, oops, give me one second. Whether you love networking, you tolerate it, or you actively avoid it, what we're going to explore is what networking really is and how it can be and should be one of the most powerful tools in your journey. So I'm excited to share the tools that help you go from working the room to actually building meaningful, human-centered connections that lead somewhere. So here is my introduction. So no worries, Irene. I am Annette Bloom Pearson. I help people build values-driven careers and lives that they love. I do this in many different ways. One, as a former product manager and marketer at tech companies like Cisco and Google, I pivoted to running my own certified coaching business. I also co-founded an organization called Light the Way, and my partner and I support people leaders and teams to expand their capabilities and scale their success within a team. Lastly, I serve on several boards, including UCLA Anderson School of Business Alumni Board of Directors and the International Coaching Federation Board of Trustees. My board service allows me to guide organizations at a strategic level and ensure sustainability. My coaching work is all about helping ambitious people, like everyone in this room, step into their leadership with purpose. And none of my work would be possible without a network of people who continuously educate, connect, and refer me. So let's begin. One takeaway I hope you'll take from today is that successful networking isn't about being extroverted or having ridiculous confidence. It's about being prepared. And we'll talk through some of the tools that help you feel prepared as you go into different networking situations. Throughout the majority of the session, we're going to walk through a simple, memorable framework, which I'm excited for you to put to use, starting with a little bit of practice in the chat in this room. As part of my work helping high-level leaders prepare for new roles and board of director positions, I've collaborated with another coach named Elise, who is the co-founder of an organization called Articulated Intelligence, to reframe networking from transactional interactions to creating real connection. So I will reference a lot of the tools that I've learned from her and her team. As they say, networking, excuse me, is about connection with intention. It's about how you show up, the questions you ask, and the mindset you bring into everyday conversation. So what does that mean? It means, I'm so sorry, that networking isn't something that you do without preparation or thought. Like anything that you want to excel at, you have to practice. So instead of trying to wing it and coming unprepared to networking opportunities, instead of showing up tired, distracted, or just hopeful, let's use this framework that positions us for success. So within my organization, Light the Way, we created the BOARD, B-O-A-R-D, networking framework, and it allows you to show up with a straightforward and repeatable plan. So let's not forget, again, before we even start with the framework, what's happening in our physical bodies and how that impacts the way we show up in any space. Let's see. We understand that what happens in our physical body can really make us show up very well or very poorly. And if we can create some networking rituals, simple habits that allow us to show up with focus and energy, we'll be that much more successful before we even connect with someone. So some of the suggestions that are available, but you can do what feels good for you, are to do an activity that calms your nervous system. Tap your chest or your fingers together, just for that physical connection and to concentrate on something, to slow down your mind. You can also listen to music, move, or stretch your body. Another way to become more present is to take a few deep breaths or to do a quick power pose before you enter a space. Now, let's see. I feel like there's a lot going on in the chat. Oh, just okay. Who here knows what a power pose is? You can put something in the chat or put an emoji. Hands on hips is great. Sarah, you know? Okay, sounds like people are. So a power pose is something that we do with our body to make us feel big, to make us feel strong. And it signals to our brain that we are prepared, we are strong, and it reduces our fight or flight reaction. Last suggestion is to out loud, if you're willing and able, to remind yourself that I belong in this room. Because when you remind yourself of that, your neurotransmitters change the pathway that is happening in your brain. And when you say that to yourself, you do know that you belong in that room. And the thing is that you do belong in this room, whether it's here or any networking space or interview or connection opportunity that you have. So as Elise and her team say, networking isn't about being the loudest person in the room or having the perfect elevator pitch. It's about connection with intention, how you show up, the questions you ask, and the mindset you bring. So with this in mind, we developed the framework, the board framework. Because we do a lot of work training people to pursue board seats, we thought that this was a relevant way to create the framework. But I also want to say that when you are doing anything, you have a personal board of advisors that you collect around you. So the board of advisors that serves you personally is the best place to start your networking. And so if you remember that, you will be able to remember the board framework. We'll go into more detail as we move through this, but just to give you a quick overview, B is for building relationships instead of transactions. O is to offer first and to be a giver. A is to aim with intention. R is to remain curious. And D is to do it. Just do it and keep doing it. We'll start with B, building relationships. Consider this reframe around networking. Networking for any role is not and should not be transactional. It's relational and reputational. If it feels like you're just collecting business cards or LinkedIn connections, it simply is not going to work for you, especially in this time of AI, where it's so easy to apply to roles or to have that spaghetti at the wall that Irene mentioned, people reaching out to you for roles that may not be a good fit. Machines can toss candidates out by the hundreds. So personal connection is essential. Roles are filled by people. They require trust and a shared purpose. Someone needs to say your name in a room when you're not there and feel confident doing it, knowing that if you're hired, they will, that you will succeed in what you've been hired to do. So as you think about networking, I want you to think less about volume and more about depth. Fewer conversations, but stronger relationships and more consistency. And instead of asking, what can I get from this conversation? Ask, what kind of relationship could this become over time? What can I offer to this person, their team, or their organization? And think about the timelines that are aligned with your professional goals and what makes sense, whether you're simply trying to build rapport or pursue a role as quickly as possible. Many accomplished people do start networking broadly, but not always strategically for the role they're hoping for. So if you have a goal, you want to be strategic. You need to clarify who is helpful to know to achieve the goal that you have in mind. So the people who might be helpful include hiring managers, HR and people ops people, people working on a team or in an organization that you aspire to join. You also might want to connect with investors or funders who know about that business or that industry, search firms or recruiters like Irene who help place people like you, or other people in similar roles who might have peers that are hiring or can put your name into the hat for someone who is. You don't need to meet everyone, but you do need to meet the right people. And many opportunities come from relationships that are organic, but still very intentional. Now we move into O, offer value first. One of the most powerful shifts is when you transition from asking, what can I get from this, to asking, how can I help someone here? That shift reduces pressure, increases your confidence, and makes networking feel more natural and effective. Leaders are looking for people who add value in rooms. Networking is your chance to demonstrate this before you ever join a team or even go into an interview. If every conversation you have communicates that you're thoughtful, you're intelligent, you're generous, and you connect the dots, people start to imagine you as a colleague. And for most people, giving builds credibility in a way that feels authentic and honestly just feels good. So you're not saying, hire me. You're saying and you're showing, here's how I show up when it matters. As you think about the kind of roles you're looking for, or the conversations you've had recently, what type of offers might benefit the people that you're talking to? So if you feel like putting something in the chat and you think about the roles you're looking for, what do you bring to the table that you could offer to someone that would be helpful, that would make their lives easier, or even just make the hiring process that they're part of easier? Anyone have any ideas? If not, I have a couple. So some of the things that could be interesting for you to say in a conversation that shows your generosity is, the news is full of information about the industry that you're in. And I noticed that your organization is growing in this space. I have a lot of ideas about how to be competitive. Could I share some with you? Or something like, that thing you said about blank, whatever you were talking about, reminded me of someone I used to work with. I think you'd have a lot in common. Would it be valuable if I made a connection? And lastly, you could say something like, I was going through your company website and there were a couple areas that weren't super intuitive to me. Would it be useful if I shared some suggestions on what a better flow could look like? So you're not asking them to hire you to do these things, which you would be good at doing. You're showing them that you, without them asking, have ideas and can be proactive in the way that you can add value to them, to their organization, and the industry. Next, we want to talk about A, aiming intentionally. We don't want to just think, who can get me a new job? Instead, we want to consider, who knows my experience? Who knows how I judge what values I have and the leadership I've held? And how can I increase the number of people who know about these things and appreciate me? This allows you to think about people who already know you, who may not be up to date on what you've been doing. How easy would it be to reach out to say hello and over a quick chat or a coffee, update them on what you've been doing and what you're excited about these days? It's a lot easier to talk to someone you already know than to create a fully new connection. When you're networking strategically, it's essential that you have an ask or a goal so that when these existing connections or someone new that you meet offer to support you, it's really easy for you to give them something they can do without making it stressful or taking a lot of time of theirs. Remember, people want to help. If you think about yourself, do you want to help? You want to do something for other people, but when it's difficult or complicated, you're out. And that's the same for anyone who wants to help you. The easier you make it, the more likely they are to do it. So one easy ask you can think of is, I'd like to connect with someone from industry, company, organization, or even an association. I know you work in that space. Would you be willing to make an introduction to someone who's doing something in that area who can share insight with me? Another question you could put out there is, do you know anyone in this company or industry? I'd love to connect with them to learn about the work they're doing and if their team is growing. I challenge you to take just 20 seconds to write down a few people from your network that you'd like to reconnect with. They don't have to be on teams you want to join, but people that you can nurture intentionally, and think about what information you want to share with them about where you've been and where you're going. So I'm going to give you 20 seconds. And when you are done, put a thumbs up in the chat. Okay, you have about 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Did anyone think of someone? Awesome, Diana. That's amazing. I hope that you're going to give them a call or a text before the night is over. Marcia, nice, or Marcia. Same goes for you. Get in touch sooner than later. So we'll move on to R, which is to remain curious. So many of us, even the highest professionals, worry about sounding self-promotional when they're talking about what they do, what they've accomplished, and what they want to do next. And curiosity is an incredible cure for that. If you ask people about their job, their industry, what's happening in their lives, not only does it allow them to speak about what they care about, what they know best, but it can also open the door for you to showcase your alignment by responding with your experience in that space or deeper questions that show that you have knowledge about what's important in that arena. So some simple questions that allow us to be curious are, what brought you here? What surprised you about the role you're in? What skills, connections, or subject matter expertise are most needed in the type of team, role, industry that you're in? What makes someone really effective on your team? Or how did your first role in this space come about? And if none of those feel good, you can ask something as simple as, what is the thing you love most about your work? Or what is your best memory since you've joined this organization? That gives them a specific instance to recall, share, and then pass back to you so that you can speak about things that you love in the work you've done. So that curiosity is contagious, and it's an essential tool for intentional networking. Lastly, we come to D, just do it. How can you start to build these habits and make them work for you? You can start by giving yourself permission to practice saying, I'm starting to explore roles in this space and would love to learn from your experience. But to be honest, you don't need a perfect script. You just need repetition. You just need to do it. You need to show up, follow up, and have conversations. These conversations will include that curiosity, that generosity, and that real connection that you're aiming for. That connection is what allows people to think of you when they are in conversation about open opportunities, pilot programs, referrals, etc. So the visibility that you're looking for and the comfort that we all strive to have come with repetition. So I challenge you to attend events, accept introductions and invitations, follow up with people, have coffee, join groups, and say yes to conversations. Don't forget, it's essential also to build a strategy around following up and keeping in touch, nurturing. Maggie, that's awesome. Oh, I'm so sorry that my voice is low. I'll lean forward for the last 2 minutes of my
It
presentation.
sounded clear to me, so it might.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about following up, you want to be able to remember what you talked about with that person, be able to share another offer or insight or curiosity, and maybe take a note of when you met them and put a calendar reminder of when you want to follow up so you have that consistency. Nurturing that network is going to be one of the most important things of getting people's minds on you in the moments when it matters. So the more you talk about your interest in a company, an industry, or team in a thoughtful way, the more natural it will become, and the more others will start to associate you with that type of work and say your name in that room. So I want to thank you for being part of this session. I know in the age of technology that we're in, networking often gets pushed to the side, and the human-centered focus can be thought of as a soft skill that isn't as important as it used to be. But I believe that it's more important than ever. And it was a lot of information that I shared. And like everything that's worth doing, it will require reflection on your part, practice, and creating new habits. But I know that if you create this networking strategy, it will serve you far and beyond the goal that you're focused on tonight, both personally and in your career. It will change how you engage and build community and your sustainable success. So I will share my LinkedIn in the chat, and I would love to connect with you. And if you have questions about networking, community, or expanding your confidence to build your career, I would love to support you. So I am really thrilled to now introduce a very special person. And that is one of our sponsors, Mr. Garrett Rice. Garrett is the co-founder and CEO of Calling.ai. He has 25 years of building products that move markets. He's a former Apple product leader who drove strategic partnerships with the world's biggest tech companies. And he's channeling that experience now into fixing the most broken process in professional life for individuals and the companies that depend on them. So welcome, Garrett. We can't wait to hear all about your work.
Thank you, Annette. Really appreciate that. And your presentation was fantastic. And as I'll talk about a little bit, networking is the key in this. Your comment about human interaction, it's so central to what's happening right now because human beings are still the people that ultimately hire people, not AI. So thank you for that. And thank you, Natalia. Really appreciate you inviting me and Albert to join this event. Um, the people on this call are some of the most knowledgeable and influential people in the process of job seeking, and so I'm honored to join you all. And thank you, Irene, for mentioning us. Really appreciate that. I'm going to talk a little bit about some tools for job seeking because we've covered a lot about sort of strategies, and I think the folks before me are much more qualified than me to talk in detail about the strategies of job hunting. I just want to show you some of the things that we've built to help you with those strategies. And so I'm going to go ahead and share a slide deck really quickly, and then I'll jump in and show you the product, and then I'll turn it over to Eric and to Albert. So first and foremost, for all of you, ours is a job hunting platform, and it's really about helping you with the workflow of job seeking. So again, the people that presented here, I think are really the people you need to study in terms of how you hold yourself and approach the strategies of job hunting. What we can do is provide tools to help some of those steps become less burdensome. And you all get premium access to callings. You can use the following URL to register, and that'll give you 30 days of premium access to the platform. And I always want to mention this too. If you're looking for jobs, saving and tracking jobs and applying to jobs, that's always free on our platform. It's just the additional AI tools that we charge for. So, we won't trap you into something that you can't escape if you don't want to subscribe. Um, Callings offers these core capabilities in the platform: the ability to gain personal insights about yourself, the ability to do branding and marketing for yourself to get the word out about you. We have tools to supplement and empower the networking strategies that Annette mentioned and Irene referred to. We have a large library of jobs, 12 million jobs, and we're rolling out this library now. And a big focus for us is to find jobs that are hosted at hiring company sites, so you don't get trapped in job boards who get paid to advertise to you that don't get paid to get you a job. Resume support. We have tools for approaching the hidden job market. We of course track your job hunt in one place, so you don't need to build a spreadsheet. We do interview preparation, and then we have workshops, especially, for example, with Albert, who works with us a lot to help train on what the process is for job hunting. And we have weekly community events as well. So that's what Callings is about. And I just want to echo what the people before me have talked about here. At the various high level, what we think are the most important elements of a job hunt. The first one is you've got to tell your story. The concept of authenticity is more important now than ever. I think Irene really dove into this with what's happening with, this spamming of everything with AI. And so your authentic voice will speak. And so I encourage you to do that. And then you have to tell that story, unfortunately, to the algorithms so that applicant tracking systems identify you, so that LinkedIn identifies you as a voice worth promoting. And so tell your authentic story, develop it, but also play the game of feeding the tech world out there your story. Number two is to run a marketing sales campaign for yourself. It's very difficult to be discovered in this marketplace. And so it's incumbent upon you to look at this kind of like a sales and marketing person to get the word out about you and to follow up on leads and to drive action for your job hunt. Otherwise, your job hunt will not proceed. The third thing, I think Annette covered it perfectly, is network more, and then network again. Do it in the way that she said in terms of being thoughtful, but you've got to interact with other human beings because they're the people that hire. And then work your workflow. And this is really where we come in, is you've got to be consistent on this. The average successful job seeker puts about 10 hours a week into their job hunt. So that's a part-time job. And so make certain that you do that, and I'll show you how we can help you with that. And the final thing is to get seen. And there's all sorts of different aspects of that, but it's really around making certain that you're discoverable for your value proposition. That way, you're not chasing as much as you're finding opportunities. And so, with that, I'm going to switch over and show you some of the ways we help you do these 5 things. And what I'm going to show you here is callings.ai. This is on the left are the tabs to different tools. And then in the center point here is where the tools manifest. And so what I've clicked on here is my insights. And so when you first register with Callings, we ask you to upload your LinkedIn profile or give us a resume. We keep that confidential. We don't share it with anyone. That data isn't used to train any of our models. You're secure and private. And when we read your resume, we start developing a series of reports to help you to reflect back to you about yourself. And we also then generate a series of questionnaires about your background that, if you take the time to answer, will help inform us about the following 5 reports that we provide for you. The first one is we try and help you identify what your goals are in your job hunt, because this is the critical first step. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up anywhere, or whatever that expression is. And so by helping you with this, and by the way, if you disagree with that, our response is the questions that you answered in your resume are not reflecting your true beliefs. So this can be an iterative process that helps you to make certain that your documents are aligned with what's inside. And so we provide a goals report to you. We also generate an ideal job based on what you're telling us. And this is also often helpful because it helps you to know what to aim for with your next role. And again, if you disagree with this, then that means that what you're reflecting is not what's in your heart. And that might be a great way for you to adjust your resume and how you interact. We provide a powerful set of brand elements. And one of the things we've heard from our job seekers and why we built this is it is not natural for you to have answers to the questions people ask you in a job hunt. And so, so to tell your story authentically, you have to practice it. And so we develop things like a 20-second pitch, a 2-minute pitch, a professional summary, headlines, what makes you unique, top 10 skills. This is all pulled from you and your material. And our users have told us this is kind of like a script for an actor. They read it, they adjust it, they edit it, and all these are editable, so you can make your changes. And by studying that and practicing it, then they're much more natural about talking about themselves. It gives them talking points for themselves. And so that's the brand elements section. We develop a detailed market fit report in which we study your career and do a full report on that. And then we also call out the target sectors based on your background that we know are hiring. And you can identify the companies that you like out of this list. And if you click on them, they will go over here to target companies. And I'll cover that in a little bit. But the goal here is really to help you think about yourself in the situation of being a job seeker. And a lot of people have career coaches, and what they do is they take these basic reports and it helps the career coach move them forward in the discussions. And so think of this as these aren't the end all be all, but they're helpful references for you to help you understand you and tell your story. And so that's the My Insights section. We also have, we've just added the ability to look at the job reports in the areas that you're in. And so you can click on different regions and look up different industries. So because I'm in software, it's showing me a report for the software industry, and it's giving me an up-to-date view on how many jobs are available, what's going on in the marketplace, et cetera. And so these are always up to date and give you a real sense of sort of the lay of the land as you go about it. And so those are all my insights, and they're all based on you and your background. So that helps you hopefully tell your story, and we'll come back to that more. But that was the first thing. The second thing is to run a marketing and sales campaign. And I'm going to start with the sales part first, because you have to apply to roles out there. And everybody knows that right now it's very difficult to get considered when you apply for an open role. Why? Because on average, every open role has 250 to 300 people apply. And for the popular companies, that number's in the thousands. So as you do that, you need to really target jobs that you can find that are really great prospects for you. And so what we do is, having read your resume and all this information you provided us, we compare you against millions of jobs and find jobs that you're actually qualified for, and we score them for you. And the goal is to present jobs that you know that you're qualified for and that you can pursue with confidence. Um, you have the opportunity to save these to your tracker, and then inside of the tracker are all the jobs that you've saved. We are job agnostic at Callings. We have a plugin to allow you to save jobs from LinkedIn or Indeed. You can add jobs manually if you find them at a hiring company site. The goal is for you to build your funnel of prospects. And this is the list of the jobs you're going to pursue and the companies you're going to pursue. And then for each of these jobs, we provide a powerful set of tools for you to pursue them. We tell you about the job, for example. We even call out and highlight the parts of the job that you're strong, moderately strong, or perhaps lacking with against this job. And so at a glance, you can see the things that you're really good at in this job. And this is based on the job post. We can give you a report on why we think you're qualified and where you might have areas that you need to defend against, and give you a full report on that. And then we also can tell you about the company and give you, for example, their Glassdoor ratings, and tell you about how many employees they have, what the latest news is. And so this is all under the Evaluate tab. And this is really prospecting. This is the sales and marketing process of your job hunt. And when you decide that these are target prospects you want, then you will generate a resume and a cover letter for this. And I want to address, Irene hits a really important point, right? Companies are really suspicious of AI generated information. So what we do is we take your native resume, we make edits to it, and we show you those, kind of like Microsoft Word. And then we'll explain the reasoning for the changes. This is a word processor. You can rewrite these in your own text. Our goal is not to write your resume for you. It's to suggest edits that make you closer to the job post and the hiring company. And so you can go through these and select these, accept these, or keep your originals across the resume. And then you have a resume customized for this role. Same for the cover letter. You can rewrite it. You can use AI to make changes via prompt. And then once you have this material for your application, you can click on the apply button and go there and apply to the job. And then congratulations, you're in a stack of resumes. So the next part of the sales process is the part that Annette hits, and Irene mentioned. It's the most important one, which is you got to network for this job. And what we do is we have targeted networking in our platform. So we look at the role that you've applied to, and we try and find 5 to 7 people that aren't just at the company, but are working specifically in the area that this job is being hired for. And we try and find the hiring manager and the recruiter for this job. And so we tell you all about them. We tell you who they are, why we think you should reach out to them, what a strategy might be for them. We give you, details about their background and history from LinkedIn. And then if you hit reach out, we will help you generate an outreach message. And this is all editable in here and promptable, so you can make it authentic in you. And the goal here is hopefully that you can apply and network to 5 to 7 people per role, say in an hour. And the goal is to get these people to respond to you. And by the way, we go one step further in that we try and find an accurate email for these people, so that when you send the outreach message, you're not going through InMail. You can, and we have that as well. But this basically hopefully helps you reach out to that person directly, so that you can have more confidence that they might respond. And so this is, part of the sales process, finding prospects, reaching out. And so we build that all into the job tracker, plus your job hunt is in one place, so you know where to go every day. And so that's part of what Callings does. And so that's, sort of the second step. By the way, if you can move your prospect into the to the point of closing the deal, we provide a full interview prep report for you to help you prepare for this specific role. So everything in the tracker is customized for that individual role. So every role is different. Every interview prep report is different. And these are all available to you. So if they call you back in 2 months, you know exactly what you sent them and you're ready to go. So the third thing that I mentioned, and well, I just covered the third one before I introduced it, which is networking. We have a different type of networking too, which is if you have target companies you want to pursue, we support boss shopping or reverse recruiting, in which you can add the companies that you want to target, and then you can create a speculative role for that company. And what that is it's not a role that actually exists, it's the role you want at that company. And it empowers all sorts of interesting things. We can generate a description of what you want to do there based on all your information. And then what we can do in the tracker is, if you pick, for example, this Autodesk speculative role, we can still find networking contacts for that. So you can reach out and say, hey, I'd really love to work there. I know what you're doing. I'm really excited about it. And take all of the things that Annette suggested and put them into practice. And so really the goal we have is to give you the leads to do the types of things that she's suggesting. And so that's part of the networking thing. And so those are two things we do on the networking side, and I'll show you more here in a little bit. What you're seeing here with all of this is it's about workflow. It's giving you the tools so that you can take action on the things that you're learning about doing the job hunt every day. And I think what you're discovering if you're a job seeker is that the job hunt is a multi-dimensional process. Having a perfect resume won't get you a job. Interviewing perfectly won't get you a job. Networking a few times won't get you a job. All of it together is what's going to get you a job, and you have to take all these steps. And so that's really the goal of our platform, is to give you a place to do all of that and pursue that. By the way, we offer tools for doing assessments on your resume, et cetera. You can add multiple resumes so that you might have multiple personas, or you might want information from 2 different careers you've had to help feed into the AI tools that we provide, and we support up to 5 resumes. And so you can get an assessment if you want. It's always good to talk to an expert, but this is maybe at a first glance a way of reviewing what you've got. And so we provide tools for that, and we do an ATS audit as well to make certain you can get through the applicant tracking systems. And so with all that, I'll show you one more thing and get off the stage. And that is this idea of getting seen. And so all of these tools are around getting your word out there. But in the modern job market, it's increasingly difficult. As I mentioned, when you apply, you're very likely to be ghosted. 70 to 80% of people who apply are never ever contacted, and their resume is never seen, even though they may be qualified. That's the reality of this new digital AI age that we're in. And so how do you promote you? It's hard. Nobody likes to, it's really difficult to do. And so what we built is a thing called My Campaign. And taking all the information that I showed you from the other tools, what we can do is build a marketing campaign for you. And that starts with a calling card. And what a calling card is your professional landing page and brochure. And our goal is not to replace a resume or a LinkedIn profile. Those are really just sort of a description of what you've done in your career. The goal is to sell your value proposition like a marketing or a brochure. And so we have a header or hero description of you, and these are all editable, by the way. You can either edit them manually yourself, or you can prompt to find better answers for these things. And that's all built into every section. We have a call to action for the people that see this page. We generate any of a series of really powerful graphics. Why? The average read time for your resume or to consider you in the job hunt process by a recruiter or a hiring manager is 5 to 7 seconds. So what we're trying to do is give something for them to look at that really tells your story. And so this is mine. I have background in product and strategic partnerships and storytelling and communication, and I'm in the technology field. And if you don't like that one, we have a whole series of other ones. We can do, if you're into classics, we can do a copper plate from the 1800s. We can do a baseball card. We can do a comic strip. We can do an action figure, which is our default, and you get that for free. And you can also have, for example, a movie poster. And the goal, again, is to ooze your true, authentic value proposition into the minds of people quickly. And so that's built into the product. And when you're done with all of this, you can preview this as a website and post it. And we host the website for you. And it's really just about you, your background, your resume, how to get to your LinkedIn profile or download your resume, and then how do you start getting this out there? Well, we all have our own personal network, and that's where you should always start when you're networking. And so we talk to people who want to help their friends get a job. And you know what they told us? They send me an email saying I'm looking for a job. and or they send them the resume. And what they told us is what I really love is they told me what their value proposition is and what types of jobs they're looking for and who to introduce them to. Then I would take action for them. So we built this in. So now if you send this out, and we have a whole set of tools for sending this out to your own network, when they arrive at your page, introduce Jonathan. So this is Jonathan Doe. If you click on it, we will list the types of people Jonathan Doe wants to meet. And you can just click on it, and we will generate an outreach message for that person that they can edit. And then they just need to put in the email address or the LinkedIn profile and say, hey, I know this person, Jonathan. He's fantastic. You should definitely consider him or talk to him. And so the result, of course, is that you're activating your network because now they know what to do to help you. They can also give a shout out, which is to post you on social media. And we've had users on our platform post their calling card on LinkedIn and get tens of thousands of impressions and dozens of comments from their network. And so now they have a way of announcing that their availability in a way that isn't desperate, but is, hey, this is my value proposition and I'm open to opportunities. And so that's all built into the calling card. And if I go back here, let me see. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. We also build into my campaign the ability to reach out to your supporters or to promote it yourself as well. And so this is part of the process of getting seen. And you get seen by applying to jobs the traditional way, by networking like crazy, by promoting yourself and putting the word out about what's going on and getting your own group of friends, family, and colleagues to support you. And so that's all built into the platform. There's more, but I'm gonna make certain that I give time to Eric and to Albert because these guys really know how to crank up AI. And so with that, I'll just point out that we provide things like webinars to our users in a weekly calling circle, which is a networking and community event, so that you can network with other job seekers. And by the way, other job seekers are more likely than most to help you because they also are in the situation of needing help. And they almost on average have 5 to 7 companies on their resume. So one of those companies might be somebody that you're targeting. So we meet every week and talk about job hunt best practices and network and commune with each other. So that's all part of the platform as well. And we'd love to have you try it out if you're interested. And I can't thank you enough, Natalia and Albert and Eric for having me. And I'll get off the stage and turn it over to the amazing Eric and Albert.
Garrett, thanks so much. Thank you for that incredible presentation. It's incredible to see how far the platform's evolved since I first met you, I think 3 years ago out on that patio down at Stanford at that event we were at. And it's wonderful to see your vision being realized and all the traction you're getting, how you're just staying ahead of the curve with AI and the way you've incorporated it into your platform. I hadn't seen those calling cards before. Those are fabulous. Congratulations on everything you've achieved with your platform.
Thank you. Thank you. And that was the perfect networking moment, exactly as Annette talked about. We didn't know how we could help each other, but here we are still working together after
That's right.
3 years.
Still networking, still networking.
And still networking.
And that's what it's all about. And that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about today. And then I'll turn it over to Albert to share his workflow and his approach to building custom AI modules and vibe coding with AI. So let me just share a presentation that I've got for everyone and give you all a little bit of an introduction to my background. Hold on. this screen, and you should be seeing the slides now. So just a little bit about myself. So my name is Eric Forst, and you can see a few of my startups that I'm working with down at the bottom. Bloxy and SF Agent Builders are two of my companies that came out of the Web3 space, but now we're really working with blockchain abstracted behind the scenes as a way to just bring transparency and just really serve as a public ledger. But Bloxy is now a alternative to DocuSign. It's dollar per document signing that allows you to have documents completely in your control that never hit the cloud. And our team at Bloxy that's been working together for 3 years building products has launched a new service called SF Agent Builders, and I'm happy to share a link with that to everyone after my presentation if you want help building more advanced agents for your business or for your job search. But what I'm going to share with you today is how to build a career search agent powered by your ontology of value test results. I think you've all been given the access to take the ontology of value test, but if you love Clifton StrengthsFinder or Myers-Briggs, you can also connect any of those self-assessments to the job agent that I'm going to show you how to build. A little bit about myself. I got into the HR technology world starting back in 1999. From 99 till 2005, I was the VP of marketing for Act One Personnel Services, which is part of Apple One. So it's a national staffing company. And I was lucky to help launch one of the world's first ATS, applicant tracking systems. And at the time, we didn't even call it SaaS software, we call it web-based software. So that's how long I've been doing this stuff. And then I also ran marketing for another national staffing company for a few years called Roth Staffing. And then as recently as 2016 to 2018, I was running business development for Symphony Talent, which is a recruitment marketing platform. So I've been in and out of the world of HR tech for several years. And I was really happy to hear Annette talk about the importance of networking and Garrett talk about the importance of really treating your job search as a marketing campaign. So as someone who has worked in marketing for staffing companies in HR, I'm very excited to share with you how to kind of think like a marketer and then take the marketing approach into a custom GPT or a Claude project that I'm going to show you step by step how to build. And all this will be recorded and all this will be shared with you afterwards. If you don't have access to Claude projects right now or just want to listen, you don't have to follow along step by step if you don't want to. So I think this slide, these stats are really important for everyone to think about in terms of the importance of networking. Only 5 to 15% of all jobs are obtained through a job board. So if you're spending most of your time looking for jobs in job boards and applying to jobs in job boards, you're probably not going to get a job. Not in this market. 85% of jobs come from your network and from referrals from people you know. And so it's so important to get out there network, but it's also important to be building your network. So that is what most of your time should be spent on. So the other thing is how do I turn this into a marketing campaign? I'm not a marketer. How do I think like a marketer? So I'm going to give you a 3-minute marketing lesson on how to think like a marketer. Marketing really comes down to brand, persona, targeting, and outreach. When you think of a brand of a company, you're thinking mission, vision, values, you're thinking the style guide, the logo, all of those are expressions of the core values of the brand, the way that brand wants to be seen in the world. But most importantly, it's the experience that people have when they interact with that product or service. That is really what becomes the brand more than anything. So in terms of a person, what is your brand? It is what is your mission? What are your values? And if you take self-assessments like the ontology of value test, you actually get sort of really good building blocks to understand your personal brand and how to represent yourself. So on the right, I'm showing you my ontology of value test results, which shows that I'm a creator, an achiever, and a linchpin, means a connector, as sort of my top 3 skills and values that I bring to a workplace, also as a manager. But what I love about ontology of value is it also helps you understand what are the best working environments for you, where you have the best chance to thrive and flourish. So for me, it's in an entrepreneurial environment, a freelance environment, or in academia. I guess picked up on the fact that I really liked teaching English when I was getting my MFA in creative writing a long time ago. So that's what is showing on the right-hand side of this slide. So that will really help you understand your personal brand. And then the next thing is the persona of the person who you are talking to. And so we think of that as the ideal customer profile, like who is it that I want to reach? So all of the messaging, and in this case, your cover letters, your resume, posts that you make on LinkedIn, even your direct messages as you do outreach, should all be very clearly keeping in mind the person who you're talking to, that persona of who you're talking to. So as a marketer, if we're selling, French fries, literally we're thinking of like, how do I communicate French fries to our ideal customer? And so as marketers, we literally make baseball cards that represent the persona of the person we're trying to sell, whatever it is, French fries or forks or uh, tennis shoes too. And so we give that person a name. Let's call her Brenda. We give them an age. We say she's 47. She drives a Volvo. She lives in Fremont and has a dog named Burl. I mean, we really get that detailed in terms of thinking about our ideal customer, who they are, based on research, based on who we know them to be. So in the case of a job search, it's really thinking clearly about who are the companies I want to work for, who are the people I want to work with, what are the kinds of environments that I want to work in. So you want to be really thinking about that as you're creating all of your communications and outreach messaging. Um, so that's just quick 2 minutes, how to think like a marketer. Then the next really important thing to start thinking about is, where do I want to work? So in marketing, we always have, the target list of prospects that our salespeople are going after. And we're trying to support our salespeople with the marketing material that they need to achieve their targets. So you should be thinking of your job search the same way. If you don't have a top 20 list of the companies that you want to work for, start working on that now. And the job search agent that I'm going to show you how to build can help you discover companies that you may not have thought of. And so if you're just drawing a blank, you don't have any on your list, that's okay. This agent will help you build that list. But it's good to start by thinking about uh, places where you've worked in the past, people who who work at a company and they really like it, or just companies that deliver brands and services that you're a fan of, and you like consuming those products and services. Those would all be good types of companies to put on this target list. So let's get into it. Let's start building the career agent. So I'm going to show you how to do this step by step using Claude Project. But if you're a ChatGPT user, that's fine. You're just going to use a custom GPT. So you're going to navigate to where you would create a GPT. And so everything that I'm going to show you in Cloud Project works just as well by building it as a custom GPT in ChatGPT. So the first thing you want to do is go to Claude AI, or what I highly recommend, if you are a Claude user and you haven't already downloaded the desktop version of it, that's this right here. So you will get a more efficient use of your AI tokens if you're using desktop. And it will also put less resources on your machine by running it through their app rather than trying to run it in a tab in your browser. So you can see here I have a whole bunch of projects set up for some of my different startups and different clients. And so you're going to want to go to New Project, and you're going to call this, I'm just saying OV for Ontology of Value because I'm connecting it to the Ontology of Value Career Search Agent. And this is an agent to help me thrive in my career. So I'm just going to create that project. And now I'm going to just go back to the step-by-step guide. So that's, I really just did this whole first part. I just show you how to create a new project, give it a name. So now I'm going to drop a link to this Google Drive, and I'm going to put it in the chat. So this is where everyone's going to find the resources that I'm about to share with you. So if you look in the chat, you'll see a link to the Google Drive, and you'll see right here this career search agent.md file. What you're going to want to do is open this and select it, select all, and copy it. You can do it directly from the Markdown file, or if you open it with Google Docs, it'll present a little, uh, with all the formatting built in. But this is basically the custom instructions that you're going to drop into ChatGPT. If you're using ChatGPT, you'll see also it has a name, a description, and then an instructions box. So you're going to paste that Career Search Agent project prompt MD file. Actually, I changed the name of it. It's just Career Search Agent, that file. You're going to drop it into Claude Project in the instructions. So when you have a project in Claude, you have memory, which will automatically build based on what it learns from you and the chats that you have with it. And instructions is where you're going to paste that prompt that I just shared with everyone. And what this instructions is doing is it's first telling Claude, what its main role is. Your career search agent built on the ontology of value framework. If you decide not to take the ontology of value test, let's say you're a huge fan of Clifton Strengths or Myers-Briggs, just change this from ontology of value to just replace it with the name of whatever self-assessment tool you prefer that you're using. This is going to help you generate that hit list of 20 companies. And it's going to do two things. It's going to look for opportunity leads, open jobs, but it's also going to look for network leads. So these are the people who you want to invite to coffee and practice all the skills that Annette was teaching you about networking. And so you really want to focus on both kinds of leads. And this job search agent is going to bring both back to you. It's going to bring both open jobs, but just people you should meet and reach out to build your network. Because like we saw in that first slide, 85% of jobs don't come from boards, they come from your network. So you need to be spending, like Garrett said, 10 hours a week. Think of this as a part-time job. And your job is to be a marketer, marketing yourself to meet as many relevant people that can help you land that ideal opportunity. This is not an application bot. This, is instructed never to submit applications or send messages. This is just going to bring to you the most relevant, best people and to reach out to, or job opportunities that it thinks will be a good fit. We're going to create a user profile based on your ontology of value test, your resume, and there's a preferences file that you're going to fill out. You can do all this later, but I'm just going to show you how to set this up now. And then this is giving instructions, from the ontology of value test results. It's going to extract the top 5 value building profiles, the top 5 working environments. It's going to extract certain information from your resume. It's going to extract information from the preferences file. And then based on that whole profile, it's going to bring back amazing jobs and opportunities and people for you to build into your network. So let's go back to the step-by-step. So I just showed you how to copy and paste that whole career search agent MD file. I took out that part of the title into the instructions. And again, if you're using ChatGPT, send a custom GPT, you paste it in there. Now we're going to add the framework knowledge. So this is going to be your ontology of value test booklet and the job market navigation guide. So when you take your ontology of value test that Natalia gave everyone free access to, take one, you're going to get an email after you take the test, and the email is going to have your final report. It's going to have this book, the ontology of value book, a PDF of it that describes all of the different core competencies, all the different working environments, and it's going to give you, it has this amazing guide on how to navigate the job market and shine at job interviews. So this is a lot of the framework I'm teaching you now. A lot of what this ebook that you get is really how to market yourself in this job search. So you're going to download both of these files, and then in your Claude project over here in files, you're going to go upload from device. And so now those 2 files are downloading. They're still downloading. That's why it's not rather grayed out. So just imagine that you uploaded those. Let's see if they're done. They're done. I should be able to upload them. I don't know why they're grayed out. Here, I'll just, I think I have them previously because I did this before. Hmm. Not sure why they're not showing up for me to upload, but you should be able to upload those two files that you download from the email after you get your ontology value test. And then the next thing you're going to upload is you're going to upload your test results, your resume, and your preferences file. So I actually have one of these agents already configured. So let me just go to that one so you can see it. So here's the configured agent. So you can see here in the files, I've got the book, got both of the books, and then there's this preferences template. So the preferences template you're going to get here from the Google Drive. And this one is probably a little easier to open it as a Google Doc rather than working with it in the text file. But what you're going to do is you're going to just work through this worksheet and just fill in, on-site in the name of the city, or if you want hybrid work, list the city, or if you want remote only in the US, go in there and you can just put an X next to it. For visa working constraints, you'll just say, uh, you'll give the answer here within the brackets, um, whatever the answer is, and I'm going to put you a citizen. Target role titles. You can, go ahead and list jobs that you've had that you liked, VP of product or head of business development, or it can be aspirational jobs that you want, even that you think you're qualified for. And those would be more in the stretch titles where maybe you haven't had the job, but you think you're ready for it, and that would be like a step up for you. Adjacent titles, these could be cross transferable roles. So go ahead and you work through the preferences. You'll fill in, the least amount of money you're willing to accept. What's your target? What would that compensation look like in terms of a combination of base plus equity, or it's non-negotiable in terms of just needing to be a fixed salary. What are the industries that you're interested in, where you have direct experience, where you want to move into? And then company stage and size preferences. So if you want to work at a small company or a large company, list the size. It's not going to eliminate jobs that don't fit that criteria, but it will use it as part of a ranking in how it brings back the opportunities for you that are best fitted to your interests. If you're looking at companies that are more established, or if you don't mind working at startups, list the different funding stages, and then fill in, uh, the hours that you want to work, travel tolerance, start date availability, what you're optimizing for. Rank these uh, from 1 to 7, whether it's compensation that's most interesting for you, or I saw a comment in the comments about mission being more important. So if finding a mission aligned company is most important for you, then give that a 1. And then anything else the agent should know about you, just free form it. You can put your personal mission statement there, anything else you want the agent to know about you. So that's the preferences file. So you'll save that, and then you'll upload the completed preferences file. I highly recommend using Markdown format when you're uploading files into Claude or into ChatGPT. What I mean by Markdown is, like, when you're in a Word document and you go to File, Download, I was making the mistake of downloading everything as a PDF and then uploading PDFs. And you're going to use 20 times more AI tokens when you try to process a PDF in an LLM versus a markdown file. The markdown file is just the most raw text version of it. So that's what I put in here. This is what the markdown format looks like. You know, the Word and Google Docs are reading the markdown file and then presenting all the formatting. So this will be the lightest version that you can upload into the AI. And if you put a PDF in, you're going to burn through a whole bunch of tokens that the AI is having to read the formatting and the lines and the colors, as opposed to just giving it the raw text. That's all the AI needs. And you'll use 20 times less tokens when you have it read markdown files as the attachments that you give it. So I highly recommend using that format. So that's kind of it. You know, you're going to upload all you know the framework knowledge from the two booklets. Actually, what I did with those PDF files is I converted them into Google Docs, these two PDFs that Natalia gives you, and then I stripped those into Markdown format. So I gave my agent Markdown files here, just to show you again what it looks like. So your fully configured job search agent is going to have, you know, your preferences, your resume. Here's my preferences, how I filled it in. So you can see just, you know, different way I put the format of the answers. And again, I put them inside the brackets. So I put all my answers inside the brackets. And then I gave it my test results. So this was my ontology of value test. So this was, you know, where it showed that I'm a creator, achiever, linchpin who likes to work in entrepreneurship, freelancing, academia. So I gave it my test results. I gave it a copy of my resume and the two books. So that's all you need. Those 5 files and then the instructions. And then you can say, okay, let's generate my top 20 hit list. So it's gonna, so if you were blocked or didn't have 20 companies, it will now generate that list for you. So I tend to use Sonnet also to save tokens for most of my work. Sonnet works great for this job search. Reserve using Opus for more complex work. It burns through a lot more tokens when you're using the Opus model. And you know, and you have your model selector here. Opus 4.7 is amazing. Like if I'm developing business plans or if I'm developing a user interface for a website, I'll use Opus. But if I'm, you know, doing, and I use Opus actually to develop this agent, but once it's developed, Sonnet works great for most of your day-to-day tasks. Um, so it's going through, it's going to pull the ranking in, and you can see how it's working. So it's looking at my environment um, factors, and it's considering those, and it's going to look for companies that, you know, value entrepreneurship or have entrepreneurial types of environments. It could be a larger company. It's going to look for any opportunities in academia or um, uh, places that are looking for freelancers. Um, so that's the first thing you'll do is generate that top 20 list. And then once you have your top 20, you can then um, start your search. So let me go back to the instructions here. So this is just the instructions to set it up. But then now once you've got it set up and you're starting to get lists of companies, the next thing you want to think about is how am I going to keep track of that target list of companies that I'm reaching out to, and how am I going to keep track of all of the outreach that I've been doing? So one of the other things you're going to see here in the Google Drive is I created this career search CRM template that you can use. So when you open this career search template, there's some instructions here on how to use it. And you can put your hit list right here in this spreadsheet. And then it's also a place to track the two different types of opportunities, whether they're actual job openings where it's focused on the company and the role and the title that it thinks is a good fit for you, or whether it's a network opportunity and it's more about the person at a company who is potentially a hiring manager or a coworker for the types of opportunities and jobs that it's discovering as a good fit for you. So let's go back and see. Um, it's still cooking. So let me go back and show you what it looked like just in that completed one that I already had done, which is this one over here. So here was the hit list generation. Oh, no, that's the there it is. This is the one I'd already done. So it came back with Ashby, and what it does is it tells you why it's a good fit for you. So based on uh, the fact that I previously had a partnerships job at Symphony Talent, and that creator was my strongest. It maps to their product obsessed culture. So it's looking both at my role and what it can understand about the company out there. And then currently are there any hiring matches or not? It's going to let me know. So this is its recommended top 20 list for me. And then after I generated that top 20 list, the next thing was, and then it's just giving me some commentary on the list. What was my strongest lane? Uh, which companies it feels like I'm the best fit for them. Um, and then I said, I thought it was interesting that Anthropic doesn't show up on this list. There was another chat where I built the agent where it had showed up as number one. So I was asking him about that inconsistency. And this helped me discover that I had created a hard, fast rule around company size and the preferences. So I've adjusted that now in the prompt that I've given you. So, when I ran it this time, it didn't bring back Anthropic because it thought it was too big. But I had because I had stated my preference size was a smaller company. So it's letting me know that, okay, I shouldn't have excluded it. I should just use that as a weighting. Um, so, so that was kind of like the finalized list. Now put Anthropic back in there um, after I adjusted that in the prompt. And then and then it's going to run the search based on your top 20 list. It's now looking for both of those opportunity leads, people that I should be reaching out to for coffee or for networking. And it's actually, I'm sorry, the other way around. These are just where there's open roles. Um, and so it's saying, okay, and it's actually bringing back the URL where I can apply for the job. And then these are the network leads. So this is Jennifer Smith, who's the CEO of Scribe. And it's saying she was head of business development, and it's got partnership. So it's giving me the reason why. So it's why she's someone I should reach out to. She knows what good business development looks like. That my MFA in business development background gives me an unusual perspective that it thinks she might appreciate. And it's giving tips on how I should reach out to her. Reference her Greylock BD background and our shared BD directory. Raymond is wanting to learn how she thinks about go-to-market for AI products that change enterprise workflows, not as a job ask. So this is someone that I'm going to want to send a direct message to or a connection request to on LinkedIn. Try to maybe guess at her email. Look at if there's anyone on LinkedIn who I know who's connected to her, who could introduce me to her. Those are all the things I'm going to want to do. So you can come to this Claude project once it's set up uh, anytime and run it and get a new batch of leads. But you can also go in and create an advanced version of this. So I've got this advanced setup guide here. And to run this advanced version, you need to have Node.js installed on your machine. Ideally, it should be a Mac running Mac OS or Linux. Um, and you're going to need to have Claude Code running, in that desktop version because you're going to need the Anthropic API key. And so this is kind of advanced stuff, but you all have this instructions here. And what this will do is it will turn this project in Claude into an agent that will automatically send those leads into your inbox every day. So you'll just get a batch of emails 2 or 3 times a day. And then you can also connect it into a CRM or into that spreadsheet. You can look at the email, decide which ones you want to pursue, and then paste some Python script into your terminal, and it will automatically push these leads into your spreadsheet or into your CRM that you like to use if you want to get really advanced with this. So I'm happy to uh, provide consulting to anyone who wants help setting that up. And I'll give my contact to you in a minute. But these are just the basics of setting it up, tracking your outreach like a marketing campaign, thinking of it as such, and thus you'd be using a CRM to track your leads and track your outreach, all of the follow-up, the date that you sent your messages, your notes, everything you would do as a salesperson. That's how you need to be thinking of your job search or your career search. So just to recap, think of your dream companies, think of the ideal contacts at those companies, think about who they are, and write messages that, just like Annette was talking about, like you're talking to someone. um, take take the first step and just start with one person who you want to reach out to. Be really clear about your unique value, whether it's from the ontology of value self-assessment or another one that you like. And go ahead and share your answers in the comments to commit to your next steps. Um, and all of the resources are in the drive. We'll share this as well it's already been shared in the comments. Uh, Join Albert's list. And if anyone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can scan this QR code, connect with me on LinkedIn, and you'll also see my calendar if you want to schedule a call with me to discuss um, consulting work or having help setting up agents for your business or for your career. As I mentioned, we've just started this new company called SF Agent Builders, where we can build agents for you or teach your team how to build their own agents, lead gen agents, multi-agent swarms. We've got a whole suite of services that we're offering. And with that, I will pause, take any questions, and turn it over to Albert, who has his own agent to share with all of you.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share. Oh, actually,
Am I still sharing?
you wanna transfer the share to me
Yeah,
over
let
here?
me turn me.
Actually, I can just take it,
You
but
got
I'm
it?
just wondering if you were done.
Yeah, I am done. Okay, stop share. Okay.
Okay, awesome. My name's Albert. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you all for listening to us. And I wanted to also provide an alternative perspective to what we're doing in this job search world here. And so I've been thinking a little bit for a little while, and there's a tool I've been building as well that I think aligns with this. And so while I was on my last trip doing all the traveling that I do, I was just thinking about how the career coaching world has drastically changed. And uh, in combination with some of the work that I've been doing at Albert's List, where we run a lot of webinars and help people with their day-to-day job search, I had what came out to be about 7 different theses around what the job search now means, especially in an AI first world. And so, is there a meta-free way to my list? Yeah, you can go to my Eventbrite page too. Let me get that here in a moment. But yeah, so I think the first thing that I was thinking about as I looked into this job market and where things are today is that we are no longer in a stable labor market. Layoffs over the last couple of months have really shown that uh, we're really all in on AI as companies, with Oracle laying off 30,000 people. But that AI has also started to change a lot of different job categories. I don't know how many of you are data analysts or graphic designers in here today. But yeah, the thing is your job is at risk because AI can do a lot of the very basic things now. And so where career coaching was perhaps built on skills and maybe skills alone, right? I remember when I worked at Oracle 5 years ago, the chatter was all about skills. And I think a lot of that has changed. And it's really created a much, much different way of thinking about things. Number two, we're looking at a permanent restructuring of the economy. I think when we look at career coaching, it was designed for perhaps the ups and downs of a job market, just like what maybe we saw in the dot-com bust, followed by the Great Recession, followed by the COVID recession. And it was all uh, about how you package yourself up, the skills you have, the certifications, the tools that you're able to use. And now that I think AI has really closed that gap, we really have to think about how we look at our careers. And one way, in the way that I've thought about that, is that we all need to be truly strategic thinkers. Um, and strategy, I think, is at the center, and vision is at the strategy center as well. And so that's where I think a lot of the traditional career coaching, where you hire someone to look at your resume, help you do mock interviews, help you do your LinkedIn, is kind of become an issue because you have these discrete deliverables in a very undiscrete world, where the more you look at it, while these things individually are still important, they are as a whole, I think, becoming much more ambiguous, where a job interview with somebody could be a Zoom meeting, or they could be something over lunch. A LinkedIn presence can be somebody messaging you that you didn't expect to message you. They might not be a recruiter per se. They could be somebody who has a connection to an opportunity. And so there's a lot of fragmentation now, and a lot of it doesn't connect very well. And the other thing is that we live in a world where I think for many of us, our skills are becoming increasingly commoditized. And I know this is super ambiguous from what Eric was just talking about here, but I want you to stick with me because there's a point that I'm looking to try and make here. The other thing that I think we look at, and I see this with a lot of job seekers, is they're doing a lot of repeated tasks over and over and over again. I think that uh, I see people who are on LinkedIn in my jobs group on Facebook saying that they've applied to 500 jobs in the last 3 months. They've applied to 1,000 jobs and they've gotten 4 interviews. And they followed everything. They've done the ATS. They've optimized their LinkedIn. They've edited their resume 15 times, but nothing has happened. And I think that's a symptom of a much larger philosophical problem within this job market, right? Let even to some degree, and I love Eric, and with all due respect, that putting together an agent may not necessarily solve anymore, because once we democratize access to everybody's agent, then everybody will be applying for the same 500 jobs, and then where does that take us? And so and so how that changes everything in thesis number four is that we have to look at our job searches as a system. If we treat it as a series of tasks, if we don't look at it strategically, it's going to be a really, really tough go. I think one of the things that I notice about job seekers too, and if this is you, no anything, nothing against you, but if this is you, right, you're looking to perhaps maybe you wake up one day and you have a wind of inspiration and you apply for 15 jobs, and then you take a couple days off because, the job market really does stink. And then you pick it up later. And the truth of it is that um, one thing that we've learned in running our boot camps is that motion drives emotion. And that's a quote also from the movie Boiler Room from 1998 or whenever it was. And what that really means is that if you're not actively making steps to fill your calendar with phone calls with recruiters, phone calls with support folks, networking events, and looking at your calendar 3 to 6 months out, and even 2 weeks out at the very minimum, then your job search is not going to have the legs that it's going to have. And the other thing, number five, is that the industry is preparing people to interview for jobs that AI is actively eliminating. I think that maybe, we are seeing, I think, a market where maybe some of these jobs are coming back because there is some truth to AI not being able to cover everything. But given the amount of money that companies are spending on I think that we're seeing a lot of we're seeing a lot of jobs that used to be probably plentiful in a lot of ways where people could break into a career. So I know that when I graduated from college in 2010, I could have gotten a data analyst job for 20 bucks an hour and worked my way up to somewhere where I could be a strategic thinker and not only gather that data, but act upon that data and figure out how to provide recommendations for that data. That market, unfortunately, no longer exists. And if you're a new graduate, if you're somebody who is entering in the market or looking to transition into a new market, those types of jobs no longer exist, and you need to get to a point where you think like a visionary a whole lot sooner. And so at the end of the day, with a noisy market, with a market that is very competitive if you are applying through job search sites, LinkedIn, if you're not being reached out to, proximity to decision makers is therefore the only metric that ends up mattering. And so, if you are measuring your job search by productivity, the volume of applications, the 500 jobs that I mentioned earlier, the number of interviews, your resume response rate, those are easy to track, and those are the old school metrics. But the new school metric is conversations overall with that you're networking with, strategic thinking that lands you in the room that you are not otherwise with. And so if you are somebody who has rested on your laurel with skills over the last many years, then it is time to think about and rethink how you can translate your understanding of those skills and workflows into new concepts. And so the solution is to think a lot differently. If you're getting the drift of it, I have a tool that I'm about to share as well that I'm in the very, very early stages of. You're all guinea pigs to some effect tonight, but what it is that we're looking at here is a strategic approach where you are evaluated less so on your skills, even though skills are more important, but more so looked upon at your ability to think strategically, act as an operator in an AI first world where you can use tools and think like a visionary beyond what it is that already exists. And so that's where we come into something new. And so I've been thinking about this for the last couple of months, really, and maybe the last couple of years, but I haven't really put it together into the last couple of weeks because I haven't had the right tools to put it together. And I built something that's in its very early stages called AQ by Albert's List. So I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen into the browser. Um, so let's see, where is this on here? Okay. All right, so here we go. All right, so you can all see my screen. What I have here is a new tool that I've built, and I'll go ahead and link you to it. And this is completely free and ungated right now because I'm building something new, but more so because I also want testers and feedback for it. And so, what is it? What I'm building is a career and AI assessment tool that combines with a job search strategy solution that then combines with a repeatable solution that works for the AI age. And I know that's, I think, a bunch of marketing speak, but what I'm trying to say is that I want to evaluate you on your readiness in an AI first world where companies want to know how you think, and what you think versus what you're able to do and how you're able to do it. Because how you're able to do it is something that AI is going to be able to do. And so I'll run you through this tool, and what that score is that we call it is the Albert quotient, which is this average score of your ability to think like a visionary, think like an operator, and think strategically out of 10. And so I'm going to show you how it works here. And if you want to follow along and try it for yourself, you're going to be using my Claude tokens. So I want you to think through how that may work. And so this tool basically in its first segment, which will always remain free, is the AI assessment piece, where we look at whether you're an experienced professional or if you're a new graduate. You're going to enter in your target role. We're going to say product marketing manager at Microsoft. And then you can copy and paste your resume or you can upload a PDF. I'm going to go ahead and upload a PDF of my resume. And what we're going to do is we're going to generate a scenario in this situation because a lot of what we do, knowing that a market is extremely crowded and competitive, is that we know if we go ahead and submit applications through LinkedIn, that's one thing. But if we're able to get somebody's attention and really highlight what it is that we know, then we get to another segment of being able to speak directly to a hiring person or a person who has decision-making authority. And so what we provide you here is we provide you a scenario. You are really reaching out to Sarah Chen, Director of Product Marketing of Azure AI at Microsoft. They have an opportunity for a senior product marketing manager for Azure AI and data. Microsoft is rapidly expanding its AI portfolio with a new Copilot integration and needs experienced product marketers to drive go-to-market strategies for enterprise AI solutions. And so, in this particular situation, what we're looking to do is this role is attractive to us, and we would like to position ourselves as the strategic fit. So the prompt is encouraging us to introduce ourselves, tell her what we do, focus on the problem we solve and the strategic value that we will have to Microsoft if they decide to hire us. And what's even added more pressure is that we have a timer here that goes for 10 minutes because it's important, right, that we're able to explain who we are quickly. This is an elongated version of the elevator pitch. And so in our situation here, what we're doing is we're going to write a message to Sarah that talks about why we're a good fit for this role. But what we're going to avoid doing is we're not going to talk about why we're a good fit as much as why we see a strategic alignment with our career capabilities and what our vision for working at Microsoft would be. Thank you, Dina. And so, and so I've had a couple people test this out already. They describe it as unexpectedly rigorous, and it's supposed to be rigorous because I think in the new way of looking at what we think about careers, we have to think of ourselves not as cogs as a part of a broader machine, given that companies realize they can be smaller in the age of AI, but as strategic linchpins that connect ideas to action. So I've actually gone ahead and written something here because I want to show you what this is capable of. So what we're going ahead and doing is we're going to copy and paste what we think is the thing that we want to write. And this is going to be partially a little bit career speak and partially a little bit of what I've asked Claude to write. And by the way, if you don't want to write, you can also speak into the system as well and talk into your computer. So we're going to go ahead and submit it for evaluation. Claude, I have instructed it in the back end for the API to evaluate this based on Albert's List transcripts and Albert's List webinars and content. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to calculate the Albert quotient. And so we got an 8 out of 10. Everybody's going to get a different number around here. If you're the more commoditized you are, the lower your score is going to be. And so this score says that vision is an 8 out of 10, judgment is a 9 out of 10, and being able to translate this impact is 7 out of 10. And so what this really cares about is, do you have a longer form vision and can you look beyond a certain level of result to be able to showcase who you are as as a working professional in what's happening. And so the next part that we want to show you is if you do in fact go to market in the way that you do, based on what we've worked on with Albert's List members over the years, what is going to happen when you see this? You're going to get filtered in certain places. You're going to see what kind of response rate, and so forth. And you might also be a level mismatch depending on what you're hiring for. Paul says, can you define what you mean by commoditized or commodified skills? Yeah, so I define commoditized skills as skills that are repeatable and duplicable by AI in the AI world. So, um, if you have somebody who needs to do data entry, you can now connect your Excel MCP up to your Claude account, and you can have Claude automatically pull that data for you instead of paying somebody 19 bucks an hour to go and do it. If you are a company that employs senior graphic designers, what you now have is ChatGPT or even Claude connecting their MCP into Canva to create flyers and graphics and so forth that you can use for your marketing purposes. And so anything that is repeatable, anything that is task oriented, that AI can now do most of, is now in danger. And so if you can't think strategically at the top level, then you're in danger. So yeah. And so we also end by saying, how does an operator think about this message? Um, and we provide the advice on how to approach it. And so from here, you have two paths that you can take. You can go ahead and you can rewrite this and it'll be re-rated. Or if you don't want to frustrate yourself, what you can then do is you can then say that you understand the gap, and this takes you to the second phase. So we understand, right? In the first phase, what we're doing is we are cutting you down to size. We're helping you understand what exactly it is in this AI first world that it's difficult to reposition yourself and do what you need to do. And so in the second phase, we realize that in this new world, you have to figure out your next job search strategy. And we do this a lot in our Albert's List webinar called How to Strategize and Execute Your Job Search in 1 hour. And what I've now done is I've taken it and I've placed it into a 8 question rubric that takes about 10 minutes to answer. So we're going to speed run this a little bit, but it's going to build our strategy session. And this is going to be different based on every single person's answer. And so this first question, I'm going to go through this really as much quickly as I can. Does that repositioning feel authentic? I'd say yes, it does. However, I am still an execution-oriented product marketing manager. I still need more seasoning when it comes to being fully strategic. Um, those are the gaps. Well, operating in AI is a bit more comfortable for me, right? And so these questions are all going to be different for you, but they all center around how are we going to build your strategy? And one thing that we also do within this particular platform is we time box your job search into 90 days because we want you to know that there's a certain level of urgency with what you're trying to do. Obviously, we all want to get our jobs soon, but we also need to be flexible to what's out there. So, execution focus, but need strategic depth. I'm going to say I am currently, yeah, actually, I'm going to say I am unemployed and don't currently have a timeline for seeking my next role. So, we're going to switch this up a little bit because in the past I've said other things. So, I'm going to say um, this is my full-time work right now. All right, so we're going to type that in. And the more detailed you are with your answer, the more detailed strategic response you're going to get. All right, so I'm going to say, let's just say 250, let's just say 300K to 500K per year for my salary, just to see where we land with that. I might undersell, I also might oversell. It's really hard to say. Okay, solid range. Am I open to relocating? I am relocating, open to relocating, but prefer uh, the San Francisco Bay Area or Los Angeles. Ultimately, I'd like remote or hybrid. Okay, we're going to go ahead and fill that out. And this is building out our entire profile, which is going to give us our strategy. Okay, plus they're hybrid friendly post-COVID. How many hours a day? I'm going to say 10 hours per day. I can travel for events and conferences. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that there. And then let's see what's next. All right, serious commitment. Who do you already know in the Microsoft ecosystem? I'm going to say I have some warm colleagues from my previous role at Microsoft at Oracle. I am deeply connected with people at Meta, let's say Salesforce and Cisco. I also have a roster of recruiters within my network on LinkedIn. Yeah. So let's see, Sash, you're asking, can I clarify my interpretation of the word operator? Yeah, I think builder and implementer are also good replacement words for that. What I'm trying to gauge you for is your ability to use like and operate AI and prompt AI in the right way that will allow you to be a more efficient visionary and execution focused person. Okay, so strong network, looking at the operator reframe. What skills and gaps do I have? I am solid at product marketing and can use some more work on thinking strategically. Um, I also could work on being more influential at work. Okay, so we'll go that in there. And then we have one more question. Let's see, right? So we want to ask how are you using AI tools because we're also looking to close the gap. So we're going to go ahead and say I am using AI to build web apps, prompt on ChatGPT, and even build agents. I use AI for reference as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and generate that strategy and it's going to build a 90-day strategy that we will eventually execute upon in phase three. I don't have phase three built out yet. That comes next. But the whole entire intent here is to really give you the high level strategy for how you do your job search with an accountability layer on top of this. Because I realize that people need to be pushed, but also more so, people also function better when there is a sense of structure, right? We think about job searching as fun employment, but unfortunately, we don't think about it as something that we should move forward on, move quickly on, right? So what we now have here at the end of this 90-day strategy is your proximity score for your connections, your positioning statement for how you can speak to yourself in the AI first era, target role types for stretch roles, primary target, lateral roles, and adjacent roles where you may fit, and then target companies that you should look at that are both Fortune 500 and then startups and a little bit smaller. And we can even generate an updated resume based on the one that you updated, generate a LinkedIn About section, generate a cover letter draft, and then this reminds you of your compensation range. We also add in a networking strategy based on what you just said here. So how do you reach out to warm, reach leads, and cold leads? And then the types of events and communities that you should also think about going into. And phase three is going to include live events, meetups, and conferences near you based on your calendar and where you are. Finally, we have skills that you're going to develop over these 90 days. We're going to eventually link to these courses wherever they may be found. We're also going to build you a content strategy because being a Being a job seeker means that you also need to build your personal brand. And so we're going to give you in phase three a week by week publishing plan of content that you can put together into into this one singular platform so that you can share what you need to share on LinkedIn without taking up too much time. Weekly activities, this is based on the amount of people that you can speak to on a weekly basis, based on the capacity that you have, and also the type of thing that you'll be doing every day as a habit, and then what you'll achieve by days 30, 60, and 90. And so this at the end of the day is going to be what we build on top of to help build you an accountability system that you can go ahead and execute with. And so this is done with you, or in some sense, it could be done for you because we realize that in the AI world, you probably need to go ahead and learn it while you go along to become competent at this. And so just to kind of refresh, right? We are in an AI first world. Companies are looking for strategic, operative, and visionary individuals who can think about their job search, but also look at it beyond what it is that a 9 to 5 person can do. And so this is what we're building over here at Albert's List. We've been around since March of 2013, and we've met a lot of job seekers along the way. And this is kind of the culmination of all of my thinking for what we've been doing. So this is going to be free for a while. Take it for a whirl. Don't use too many of my credits, but I also encourage you to give me any feedback that you might have for what you think this may be. So, open any questions. Feel free to ask in the webinar chat, and also in the Q&A. All right. And if anyone has actually done their vision, their first section, I'd love to know what you have received. All right. Awesome. I love it. Great to hear that, Sash. And so I hope that you all can take what everyone has been sharing tonight and maybe even just put it right into here. And then if Eric's automation can help you execute better, then go ahead and use that. But yeah, I'm done now. Eric, should I hand it back over to you?
Well, I think we're done for the night. Albert, thank you so much
Yeah.
for spearheading this community for all these years here in the Bay Area and partnering with us over the last couple of years to deliver Career Transition Conference. This is the fourth one we've done. We started
We're gonna do
end
a
of
fifth,
20.
right?
We're gonna do a fifth. Yeah, keep doing them. Let's try to do it. Let's try to do another one and make it happen in person this time this
Yep.
fall or at the end of the summer. Sorry we couldn't make the in-person happen this time. Thank you to everyone who joined for this virtual format. I think it worked pretty well. Got through a lot. We were able to cover all the content we wanted to. It's always, of course, it's always great to meet in person.
Yep.
So we'll be targeting that for the next one. Um, and just thank you all for participating and being open to learning new things to help you navigate your career in this AI age that we've entered into. Hopefully what we've shared has been helpful. We'll look forward to hearing all your feedback. We'll be sending a follow-up email with links to all of the resources, all of the decks, and there will be a link also to the YouTube video recording of this that will be posted, Albert, on the Albert's List YouTube channel. So don't feel like you missed anything, or if you didn't get something written down, you'll have everything in the recording and in the follow-up email. Look for, is there any other final comments than that, Natalia, Irene?
Yeah, grateful to be here. Thank you so much. It was very interesting to listen to all the talks. I enjoyed a lot. Thank you.
Same. Enjoy the night, everyone. Get some rest and have a productive and good day tomorrow.
Wonderful. Thank
Thanks,
you all.
everyone. See you next time.